This is the It Won't Last Forever special with Trey Tuck. How's it going, Trey?
It's going well. It's going good. You know, life is great right now.
One of Bristol CT's best rappers out right now, if not the best. So, Trey, we had you back on for the inaugural interview of season 7. It was 7, episode 1. That was a big moment. It was back at Packed House. But today, we're going to be really honing in on your project that just released, It Won't Last Forever. So, you said in your listening party bio on YouTube, you said that this album is the rebirth of a new version of Trey Tuck. Throughout the process, you had to face many trials and tribulations to find a deeper understanding of yourself. This album is the realization that with the right amount of persistence, you can overcome anything, and you have arrived. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
To me, that just means like I'm here. So I think throughout the journey for me as an artist, it took a lot of time for me to get to a point where I was completely confident in anything that I did, right? So like I was saying, I said at the party, at the release party, I was telling people there, you know, when I first started out making music, it was, you know, am I good enough to rap first, right? And then it was, well, you can rap, but can you make a song, right? And then from there, it was like, you can make a song, but can you make a song about the ladies? Like, can you be a little bit more diverse in your content? Okay, cool, you can do that now. So can you get the right sound? Do you have the right production? Is it being mixed right? Like, can you shoot, you did all that, can you shoot videos? And can the videos be of quality? Do you have access to these people? Do you have access to marketing people or you know, just everything that comes with being an artist? I think I've gotten to the point where, you know, it's all self-made, you know what I'm saying? Not me completely, but no one was really showing us how to do it. Like, it started with us having a little bit of knowledge, but not a lot. We didn't have anybody who was throwing us money. We didn't have, you know, an investor. It was us. So I got into a point now where it's like, I know I can do everything and anything and confidently say how I feel without feeling like, damn, should I really say that? You know what I'm saying? Like confidently, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like I am the best. And it's no slight against nobody like that. But I think when you arrive, it's a different type of confidence. Yeah, it's a different type of energy. Yeah, for sure. And that's where I'm at in this chapter, like this new chapter of my life is like, I spent, I want to say 5 to 6 years trying to figure out how I can be the most confident, how I can, you know, be the most versatile. Can I jump on this song? Can I do this? Now I'm here. Now this next chapter is not about, it's about me continuing to learn about myself, but it's also understanding like you have all the tools to break in this industry. Like, you have arrived now. Like, I could take ride because I've been on tour. So I could take everything I've done, all the projects I've done, and I can walk into any room confidently enough to say, I can do this. I'm a good performer. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm here. Yeah.
So, and it seems like your business mindset is there too. So that just, you know, yeah, I remember, I think it was Lil Baby said, like, you can be a dope rapper, but if your business is bad, you're not going to make it anywhere. So
for sure.
you know, it's something that has really stood out to me looking from an outside source and seeing it from CT Breakthrough. There's a lot of Connecticut artists, but like, you're one of the ones that just sticks out because, one, obviously you're dope, but two, your business is great, bro. I love just everything that your team does. And, you know, it's really inspiring to see somebody, you know, so close by doing something so mega.
Right. And what's crazy about that too is even that is a sense in the I have arrived kind of statement is like, you know, I don't really like the business side of things because I think it turns art into like art shouldn't be business. So I feel like you should be able to make money off of it, but it shouldn't be like, it should still be art. It shouldn't be like I have to do this to get this amount of stream or pay this person to, it shouldn't be that, but I understand that is what it is.
That can be how it is. Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm okay with that now. Before it was like, I don't want to handle none of that shit. And you know, the people that I work with, even all of us being on the same page, you know, has taken some time to get. So I feel like that's a part of it too, because the business is important. That shit is you know what I'm saying? That shit is 90% of everything that we do. So knowing how to speak, who to talk to, when you're in those rooms, you know, the conversations you have, like learning to listen more than talking and all that shit. So yeah, bro, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm here, like in all facets of it. And the only thing I could do from here is just learn how to be better with what I have instead of trying to play catch up. Because now I caught up. You know what I'm saying? I've caught up. Like I've said, I've done a lot. I've toured, and that was, you know, a great experience. There was no handout in that. You know what I'm saying? Even on tour, it wasn't like, yo. And when I came back, I still felt like I had a chip on my shoulder because I'm doing all this stuff and it's like, really, like people they don't really care, like, you know what I'm saying, like, or I can't, like, I'm not being put in those conversations. So after a while, just like, man, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm here, I've arrived, you know, I'm fully confident in what I do, and what I do is for me and my people, and whoever else supports it. And if they don't, then they don't, like, it's not up for them, you know what I'm saying? So that was more so the statement and where it came from, because I had to really put all that in retrospect. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
But that's how what you're doing is exactly what you need to do to develop those super fans. I keep hearing that word when I'm on Clubhouse now. Super fans, super fan. It's those people that DM you as soon as the song drops and say, "Yo, this is my new favorite song." It's the people that go and they're like commenting like, "Hey, drop this." You see the that one video, the guy like, "Just drop it." Security, like the super
Yep.
fans are so important, and it's, you know, what you're doing is developing those, and and it's not even the ones now, it's the ones that get this buffet of retrospect on all of your discography, and they can go back and they can look at Ruin the Party, and they can go back and they can just see the evolution. And that's
Yeah.
the most important part, and like that's why I'm the most excited, because like I hope I'm one of your biggest fans, so I get to see this from like both the almost like the industry side as well as the fan side, and
Right.
you know, it's really cool watching. I saw
Yeah.
that you had what was it, 4 features? You had East Lane Dante, Stephanie Rivera, is it Rico, and then Teddy D. What made you
Mm-hmm.
choose these features and only these features?
Um. So I only did 4 because I felt like this project was a personal one, like I was saying before. So the only features are on there are people that like I connect, and there's more artists in there. Like I have some singers and stuff like that. I just didn't credit them or as features because it was, you know, it was brief. But those 4 were important to me. So I'll just go with the 2 that I knew off rip, which was East Lane Dante, which is, he produced a lot of the songs. And
yeah, he produced the intro, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's the same guy who was on 100 Million.
mm-hmm, he produces it. He's the person who, you know, he's an everything type of guy. Like if I need a verse from him, he's like, yo, I got you. He's on How Do You Know? Like he's singing How Do You Know? Like he's singing the other vocals that aren't mine. So like he's everywhere in that project. So within doing that, you know, I chop it up with him, and he's just always like, yo, if you need a verse, I got you. Because I was looking for it. And originally I was trying to work with another artist to put on there. So it wasn't going to be him originally. He was just going to help me figure out how we were going to get the hook right, and along with Josh Blunt, who was the producer of it. And I was like, you know what, fuck that, like I'm just going to give you a verse, here you go, take your 16 and go from there. And he killed it. Yeah. So he's one of those people I can always count on when it comes to anything. And Teddy's the same. So Teddy is one of those people who, yeah, bro, he's really dope. Shout out to him, yo. And I met him, I want to say maybe like 4 or 5 years ago through my homie X Wade. And like a personal connection, you know what I'm saying? Anytime I call him or he calls me, he's like, yo, Tuck, I need you to jump on this song right here. We've done mad records. He on his project he didn't put out yet. or singles that he's done that he's still sitting on. But anytime he calls me, he's like, yo, I need this done. I'm like, okay, I got you. Anytime I call him, I'm like, yo, Teddy, I need you to, and he's just, okay, bro, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And he sends it over always.
Huh.
So it's one of those things where it's like it's a beauty to have those type of relationships with people who are really really talented. You know what I'm saying? Like he sung at my best friend's wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like it's deeper than music when it comes to those two. Um, Rico and Stephanie. So Rico I met through my friend Charles Tyson, and he lives in New Haven. Well, he lived in New Haven, and he used to go to another studio and work with this dude named Rico. And he would always tell me like, "Yo, y'all should jump on a song together." Da, 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 you know what I'm saying? And I heard his music, and I was like, okay, when the time comes and I need something, I'm gonna definitely hit him up. But I'm not one of those people who like I'm gonna hit you up. I need it now. Like not absolutely now, but like the idea and everything is curated for like, okay, this is the song I want to do. I'm not gonna hit him up and not have an idea. So one day I just hit him up and he was like, yeah, bro, I'll send you the song over. Dante produced that song, that record. And I needed a hook. I wrote 2 verses and I needed a hook and I didn't know what to say. And then he just sent it back like, yeah, mixed, you know what I'm saying? And he named the song. I didn't name it. He named Picture That. And when he did that, I was like, wow. I'm naming the song this, and we definitely have to work more. So that's a newer relationship that I'm building with him. And
But
Stephanie Rivera.
oh, I said I love that. I didn't. You guys had this chemistry as if you've been working together for a while.
Yeah, no, and that's the cool thing about it is because um it's hard to catch those type of vibes with people that you're working with, you know what I'm saying? But it just worked and it connected. And that was the same thing with Stephanie Rivera when I hit her up because I was on IG and I don't even know how I stumbled onto her page, but I seen her EP that she had. It was called Emotions, and I listened to it and I had that beat already. So I already knew I just needed somebody that can give me that kind of sound. And that roots flip. Like I wanted to make sure it was similar. So I listened to like her project, but the first song that I heard was like her singing an acoustic, like to just I want to say it was just like a guitar or something, like really classic type of sound. And I was like, nah, I gotta figure out. I was like, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get her on a song. And that was the song. I was like, okay, let me just write the hook, similar to how the Roots was, you know, when Erica Badu sung it, and just have her sing it the way that she did. And then
Yeah.
came down and she just blessed the mic, took it to New York, got it mixed, and then people, all types of people telling me, yo, she sounds like Beyonce. Like I've heard that so many times.
That's probably my favorite of all the tracks. To
Yeah,
be honest, she
yeah.
like the collaboration you guys have together. It was like her voice and your voice, then like breaking up the song made it was like very refreshing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mm-hmm. And she's super talented. So I started working with her now. She comes down and records at the studio and we got a couple songs that we're working on in her project and things like that. So, you know, those were in the time of what I needed, they got done, and those are real personal connections. Also, the Getaway song, Alyssa, I'm sorry, not Alyssa. Alessandra's her name. And she was doing the background vocals kind of for the Getaway hook.
Mm.
And my friend King Devotion, he was on Growing Pains at the end and he was singing. So I definitely want to make sure that, you know, even though they're not credited because we didn't like it was all constructed for them to do and they just came and did it. They were huge elements to the project, just like anybody else was. And that was that's important to me because this project, like I said, it was personal. So if people can kind of capture how I was feeling when I relayed the message to them, then I felt like the job was done, and I feel like everybody who was on it delivered in every form of the way. So it was one of those things where everything just started to piece itself together like in perfect harmony, and I couldn't have asked for anything else, anything better than that. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it really reminds me like of a movie set when everybody's like mindset is like we're in that universe and we're gonna all think that way. And you know, everybody on the, like you said, even people that were not credited, it sounded like they're like, all right, this is Trey's sound. This is what he wants to do for the project. We're all around this, and we're all making our sound like kind of complement that.
Right, right. And that's like I said, the two people who were instrumental in that was Josh Blunt, who produced a lot, and East Lane Dante. So you know, we're all friends and we're all talented. So them helping me kind of get that together also helped. Like we all had to sit in, you know, that world of things, and we all were going through similar things together. So it kind of made sense for how some of the songs worked out. You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm just grateful, bro, because I couldn't have done that 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why that statement renders true, because I was never able to I don't want to say never, but I just wasn't thinking like, yo, I'm gonna produce this album, not just write raps, and like I'm gonna make sure it has perfect harmony with the features. Even in some of the songs, like, you know, we went in there and they're all stemmed out, and we, you know, we took pieces out, you know what I'm saying, to make sure things felt good. Like in 100 million, like we didn't, like that beat wasn't supposed to go like that when Dante came in. Like we went in and we were like, you know what, we gotta switch it up just a little bit. And then Josh came through and hit him with that. It's kind of like we referenced the Woo with Pop Smoke and Roddy Ricch. So that little sequence right there is kind of, it's not the same, but it's kind of the type of feel we were looking for.
That's very funny. It gave me 50 Cent vibes. So the fact that you say that, it's like really rings true to at least what you're trying to convey without you telling me. That's the vibe I was getting. And
Mm-hmm.
it was because of 50 Cent's verse on the Woo. So
Mm-hmm. Right. And to be honest, we did that by accident, because when we were getting the mix, that was the reference master, like that type of sound. That was the reference, but at first we didn't really know. It just sounded right. And it's doom, 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 doom. Like we're just like, we're gonna keep that, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep that type of momentum going with this song. And I think, you know, when things open up, that's the song that I'm gonna start. I'm pushing for events, parties, etc. Because it bangs like that, and I needed another version of Ruin the Party on this album. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a elevated version of it, and that's who I am in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that, not all the time, but that's a piece of me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks like I'm conscious, but you know, I enjoy. I like to have a good time. I like to turn up and do shit that everyone else does. So, you know, when I make music like that, or I'm singing or something like that, those aren't me trying to be somebody else. That's who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to catch a whole album of those, but you're going to catch a few, because that's how I feel at times. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like really, you know, not you, but like in the song, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
you know, it's that's my favorite thing is when a conscious rapper comes with that like fiery energy, like fuck you, I'm the best.
Right.
It's like, yes, say that. I want to
Right.
hear that. Gives it's like a workout song. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
you gotta lose yourself. Like it's just like that feeling of like, all right, yep, I'm putting this on when I go down into the gym to get me in the mindset to start lifting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I won't do it if I don't have this on. Type shit.
And what's crazy about that is that song, there's pieces in that song where like, if you like following me from the start, like I said this is years in the hook. I'm saying this is years in the making. I came from humble beginnings. Like humble beginnings was my first project that I ever put out. Like this has been years in the making. I came from that. Like that's where I started. But it might sound like I'm just saying like I came from humble beginnings. Like no, I'm really telling you, like if you go back and listen to the shit I did first and you hear it now, like you'll see a fucking light year difference. You know what I'm saying? And that's my point with that record is like, you know, I'm like, we didn't see a ceiling, like we still don't see a ceiling. Like there's no way we're gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? And that type of energy was something that I had to portray. So even making those type of records, I'm still giving messages. They're just really subliminal.
I didn't get that when that was a bar that I thought like really caught my attention, but I didn't get why it caught my attention, and now you explained why it caught my attention.
Yeah. And I do that a lot, yo. And that's where my favorite artists are like that, like slick. Like you just say things and you might not catch it right away, but if you have an explanation, you'll kind of understand like why I felt that way or whatever the case is. And I do that with a lot of the music that I make, especially this project. And that's why I was telling people, you know, it sounds good off the first listen, second listen, but listen to it more. The more you listen to it and you break down, like I can't ask that for everybody, but I would really appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's 2 years of me putting just all my thoughts and things together. And when you listen to it, you're like, oh, like there's something you're gonna catch every time. It's gonna be something else, something else, something else. So I think when it's all said and done, or maybe in like 2-3 years or 5, whatever it is, I think that project is going to be like a classic project. Like when people can get to it and we market it correctly, I think people are gonna look at that and they're gonna be like, wow. So if they missed it, like how did I miss that? You know what I'm saying? How did I not hear about this? And that comes down to us in a sense, marketing and everything like that, which is where my brain is switching to. You know what I'm saying? Like now,
Okay, and the fact that I want to like really emphasize that point that you're saying, artists need to realize that when you release the song, it's not dead and gone. If you release an album, it's not dead and gone. If you believe that it's a quality product, you could still like I think it was Lizzo's album was like 2 years old, but then she
mm-hmm,
blew up in like what was it, 2018 or 19, but it was
mm-hmm,
made in 2017. It's like
mm-hmm,
if you know you're good, market yourself. And
mm-hmm.
and if you really are good, you will get what you thought you were gonna get when you made those songs.
Right, right. It comes down to that. It's simple, you know. But I think as artists too, that's where like I learn myself a little bit more because as artists, the music is owed to us when it comes out, when it finally comes out. So you know, it's 2 years in the making. I want to do some other shit now, which is what most artists think. And when you have a team that can market for you, you can do that. Like you can just go to the next project and work because you have people who, you know, you have a label.
Artists and the artists only. You have other people
Right. Right.
helping you. They got your back, and they're
Right.
like, all right. You just and that's what I tell my artists. Hey, be yourself. I'll worry about everything else. I know everything else. You don't have to learn this stuff because
Right.
that hinders your process. You want to
Right.
be able to just go in the studio, make what you want to make. That's it.
Right. And that's where as an independent artist, it's a little different unless you have a solid team because
Mm-hmm.
you have to do that in a sense. You know what I'm saying? You are the face of your marketing. Like there's not cameras around you 24/7 to capture everything you're doing and people to post for you. So, you know, you have to think about that as an artist. And I thought about it. And that's why as time goes on, I learned to switch my brain to like a different element of art. Like marketing is an art. So that's a different element and something that I'm not the greatest fan of, but I know it has to be done. So I do it. And, you know, eventually get to the point where I don't got to worry about it. But especially during COVID, right now is probably the perfect time to just market and like you don't have to put music out. Yeah, like you don't have to put music out if you don't have it. Like if you have something that you can market, you could just do that because the time is just so it's everything everybody's online more than ever. So you can do it that way. But yeah, you know, I don't know, man. It's just this shit is just different, bro. It just feels good that people appreciate it and people like the songs that they like. Like I didn't know that was gonna be people's favorite song. I knew I would like it, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So it feels good to like hear that and that type of attention to detail. Like that's fire.
Oh yeah, bro. No, and another thing that really piqued my attention was your cover art too. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just a simple Polaroid, and that's of you, right? When you were a child,
Yeah, yeah.
and you have the album name and then your name written. So
Mm-hmm.
explain why you decided to use that.
So originally we wanted to do. I saw a picture on like it was like an Animal Planet and this dude was like standing on the top of a car. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was online, and he was like standing on top of the car. And it was like in the winter. It was a great picture, but we couldn't do it. We couldn't pull it off. We couldn't do anything to emulate that. So I would go home and I would look through the Polaroids that my mom would have, because I was like, man, I needed cover. Like, it's coming to crunch time. I need a cover because I don't really know what I'm gonna do. So I was looking through Polaroids. It was an idea I already had, but I strayed away from it, and I was, I'm here now. So looking through the pictures, I probably had like 6 or 7 that I knew I was gonna use. But that one stuck out to me the most because of the context of what the picture looks like. Like, I look like a sad kid in that picture. Like not sad, but I look like something is wrong, or something is blah blah blah. But in retrospect, the picture right after that was it was Christmas. So like I was just waking up. You know what I'm saying? So I was just waking up to come downstairs and open presents, but the picture after that showed that. But the one right there, I thought it captured like the whole idea and the message that I had. Like it's all about a perspective thing. And that was, that's where I grew up, and there was a lot of references to where I'm from in this project. So it was like, I should have something that represents that. And people who grew up there, you see it and like exactly where I was at, like, because, it has similar doors and everything like that. But I thought it was just the perfect element to really explain how I felt, because in retrospect, I feel great now, right? But the project, when I was making it, there's a lot of things I went through where I felt like shit, and it won't last forever. So you just have to you do something, and it can either make you a better person, or it can knock you back a few times. And I feel like that picture, it just said that to me. And all the greats have like a picture with a baby on it, like Babyface, you know what I'm saying? Like great albums, you know what I'm saying? Like Good Kid, Mad City, this, you know what I'm saying? Kendrick's getting held by I don't know who it was, his dad, his uncle, whatever the case was, in the van. And I felt like it was just symbolism of like where that project was going to take you. So I think when you see that cover, I feel like it's going to, like, instantly it tells you like, you're going to go on a journey. Like, you're going to go on a journey to figure out who this person was.
100%.
Yeah. And Price of Fame did that, but Price of Fame was more of like it was like a broader scope of things and topics, things I touched on. And this was more like personal, like me actually saying things that, the people around me can relate to, and maybe I can help somebody else who can relate to this. And that, that it was just simple. It's so complex. Simplicity is complex sometimes in how you observe it. And I thought that this was going to be a perfect cover. So I was like, yeah, let's use this one. And then the dude, shout out to Kellen, he made the picture. He made it all wrinkly and did what he had to do to have that feeling. But I felt like that it was necessary to use something that represented me, and people can get a up close and personal picture of who I was as a kid and things like that. So yeah, I thought it was dope.
I think that's a really good point, that it's an indicator, like, I'm going to take you on a journey, because you see an artist using a picture of them when they're young, that screams vulnerability, that screams like, let me tell you about my childhood, tell you about my life, let me tell you about my journey. And I think it's really strong to show vulnerability. So I think that's awesome, bro.
But and that's important too. Before you ask your next question, so being able to be vulnerable is something that I learned on this process too. Is like, it's okay to be that, and it's okay to when a man cries, like, it's okay to be vulnerable with people, because it's being honest, and it's more commendable when you are versus when you're not, because it hurts you. You know what I'm saying? It hurts you in the end. It doesn't, it doesn't do any damage to anybody else except for yourself. So I think when you let all those emotions out and you're able to express how you feel effectively and communicate properly, I think that is something that's super important. So just to touch on that point, that's
you're saying the truth. I was actually watching a master class on effective communication, and I think it's with Robin Roberts from Good Morning America, and she was talking about the time that it was right around Katrina, and her mother was down, in the area that got hit by Katrina, and she couldn't get a hold of her mother or sister, and they're like, hey, we have a job for you. Can you go down there and report on the hurricane? And she was like, yeah, of course, but like she had the motive to go see her family, and on national TV, she like found out her mom was good, and then she like rushed just in time, and she's like, New York is probably shitting themselves because like they're 3 minutes away from being on live. She goes, and then while on national TV, she starts reporting, and then the news anchor goes, so Robin, I know your mother was like living here, like how was she? And she started breaking down crying, saying like she's okay.
Wow.
And like she like after, and like she really broke down on live TV, like national TV, and she was like, oh, after, she's like, I just lost my job. Like you didn't see that in modern media at that, or modern media at that point. So when she was able to show vulnerability and then realized that the nation really took to that, when she then found out she got cancer a couple years later, she felt like she was able to reach out and tell the world that. So all that's saying, vulnerability is your friend, and when you show it, and I think it was, she said, make your mess your message. Will always feel for you and feel for you.
That's hard. That's hard, because it depends on how you look at it. It's perspective. So turning a mess into a message is a positive outlook on that, versus letting a mess just become one and let it consume you. Yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful.
So for anybody that's listening, internalize this. Make your mess your message, and real things will come out of it. Serious.
Yeah. Because you can always teach. You could teach through it, and I think I think one of the things that's important is to know. I started to figure this out too. Like I started to know when I was in a mess, I guess, or when it was coming. Like when you can start to feel like, okay, the universe is throwing things my way to kind of knock me off my knock me off a little bit, and I can feel them coming. So when and when you start to understand, like you're in them, it's easier to have more of a positive outlook instead of thinking like, why me? Like it's yin and yang. Like you're doing well. Something is going to happen to try to knock you off, but you have to understand that as well. So I think in those moments, like you said, being vulnerable is important, because as time goes on, you'll start to learn when those situations are upon you, and then you start to deal with them a little bit more correctly, I should say. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's important.
So I work in cybersecurity, and the one thing I work with are things called vulnerabilities, and they're basically just things in the system that a hacker could use to get in because of vulnerability. So what we use is we scan our vulnerabilities to then strengthen our system. So think about it like that. You have to look at your vulnerabilities to know what's there, what can be penetrated, what can be compromised. And you have to realize that you have vulnerabilities and internalize it and embody it and realize that it is your friend and you can use it to your benefit. And I try to preach it all the time, because a lot of people, vulnerability screams weakness. And, we were taught that for a very long time. But if you listen to a modern way of thinking, it's not weakness, it's strength, brother.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, is like, especially as men and as a man of color, like you're taught that that you can't show vulnerability, you can't show weaknesses, because it's like it doesn't do anything but harm for you. And that's important. Like you said, it is a strength, because understanding that can only empower you. Like the more you're in tune with yourself, the more you can empower others around you. Like I'm who I am because I am who I am. I went through the things I had to go through to become the person I am today, whether people saw them as strengths, weaknesses, or anything. Like I am me and I'm okay with that. And a lot of people have to look themselves in the mirror and understand like I am me and I'm okay with that. COVID did a lot of not for me because I kind of found myself before COVID, but when it hit and people were forced to stay inside, it's a little off, but it's on brand. People were forced to stay inside and people didn't like that. Like people didn't like having to spend time with themselves because all their weaknesses and vulnerability, they had to look at it and they had to process it and they had to think like, man, I really don't like this about myself. And I've seen so many people, like frustrated or feeling depressed. And, it's sad because when you're um when you start to learn that it is okay to feel those things and to know those things and just know how to handle them correctly, then you're better off than a person who ignores them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no, that's powerful and that's important to know and to note. So anybody who's listening,
Exactly.
it's okay.
Exactly. All right, so yeah, let's actually get into. I want to just go through the track list and just I want you to tell me the memories, what went behind this song, anything that really pops into your head when I say the name. And we'll start
Okay.
off with the first one, Growing Pains. Why was this the intro?
It was the intro because I'll take it back to when I was a child, like when I was a kid. I used to like my hands and my feet. Like when I was starting to grow, my hands and my feet would hurt. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would feel like my bones were like pulling, my feet were pulling. I had to like curl my feet up. You know what I'm saying? So I named it that based off of that because it was like in order for you to grow, you have to feel those pains. Like you have to feel everything in order for you to see where you're going. And that's kind of what I referenced when I was thinking about the song and when I was writing it. Like all the things that I went through, like for example, like riding around with my Jan Sport, like I was like 2 years or 2018, um, didn't have a car, didn't have a job, didn't have money. You know what I'm saying? I was riding my bike to the studio, which was great. It was a great thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to learn who I was. But I was riding my bike to the studio. I'd be here 12, leave here 12 in the morning, riding my bike back home. And I used to just have a lot of thoughts. So it was just more so an introspective kind of song, but on a more deeper level because that's how I wanted to start it. I wanted to reel people in. I wanted to just rap and just say everything I felt and make sure people got the point of where this project was going to go off the rip. Like even from the voicemail that Dante left me, though all those voicemails are real except for one of them. One of them I wanted them to call me and do that, and that was a Steal My Love song. But like Dante, he actually called me and he actually did that because we were working on his album and I was stressed and I felt depressed and just low mood and we were up working late. So he called me and nigga calls me, he jokes around, but he left that voice message around the same time that Old Town Road was like the biggest song in the world. You know what I'm saying? So but I was like, you know what? Around that time, I was in pain. So let me put that in it and really get the point across to people like this is where I'm going to take you. It's not like I'm not going to try to single you to death. Like I'm building, like you said, super fans. I'm here to build you guys. So I want you guys to know from the jump how I feel and where I stand. And my brother's actually doing the ad libs, and that meant more to me than majority of the whole song because the year before me and my brother got locked up, like what I talk about on When a Man Cries, and like we were fighting and shit. So it's just like it all came back around as a beautiful thing, but just to show people like this is where I'm taking you guys on this journey. So yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
and then you transition into Eternal Flow, which I think is another strength out the album. I mean, there's no weaknesses, but this one really like captivated me. So, what was the point behind this?
Um it was just the first, I want to say the first five up until When a Man Cries. So I think that's the first four songs. I just wanted to beat people over the head with I just want you to know that like I can rap. Like, remember how I was saying, you know, I always feel like I had to prove a point, and over time, you know, I started to understand like, yo, you're really dope. You can do this. So before I got into like actually trying to make songs in the album, I was like, you know, I need to get my shit off. And my homie Stitch, he made the beat. It's probably about like a year or something old. And he's from New York, so he just provided the sound of New York for me. And I was like, you know what, I just gotta rap. And I just named it after the bar, you know, hit away from greatness like Turner with the flows. Like I just named the song after that because I was like, that's dope. And I would want people, that name in itself would just draw people in to be like,
Exactly.
yo, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck is he talking about? So it was one of those things where, like I said, the first four I just wanted to bar off before I got into like to show you like, okay, my way of making songs has gotten better. So I want you guys to hear that. That's like the second part of the project, 5 through 7 or whatever, or 8 or something like that. But yeah, no, I wanted to just make sure people knew that I could rap. And if you listen to it, like there's lines in there that I say, stone cold, shit hard to bear, but I know the ropes. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin on the ropes with the 2 beers, like you know what I'm saying? So like just lines like that, I was just, you know, I was just really just talking in there. And I wanted to make sure people heard it. I know when I perform that's going to be one of those things that I'm going to tell the DJ to run it back, you know what I'm saying? Run it back, you know what I'm saying? Start from the top or whatever the case is. But yeah, no, that's one of my you know, the Percocet line, and you know, it's just, yeah, just powerful,
That's something that I love that you rap about because, you know, to each their own. I try not to, uh, you know, I don't tell anybody to do anything. We're all adults. You do you. But I really respect when people speak out about that stuff. And when I hear you coming from a conscious perspective, it's refreshing to hear, and especially in 2020.
Yeah, bro, because that shit's not cool. Like drug abuse is not cool, and we shouldn't make that like a cool thing. Like we shouldn't be promoting that to people, especially like young. Like you're grown and you're influenced by another grown man telling you what to do. That's cool, whatever. But if you're a child and this is your idol, and like they're influencing you in a sense, yeah, musicians aren't role models, and parents should be able to be there, et cetera, et cetera. But we also shouldn't be pushing drug use to if you know majority of your fan base is 16, 17, 15, 14-year-olds. Like we shouldn't be doing that as artists, especially if we don't do the drugs ourselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? And people die. We've seen multiple times where people die. So it's like, man, like get rid of these Percocet raps. Bring Guru back, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like bring the real shit back. And like you said, to each his own. I don't knock people for the type of music they make, but that's just not the message I'm gonna be pushing to people, because it's just not like smoke weed, cool, do what you gotta do, drink, cool, whatever. But I'm not telling people to prescribe drugs, opiate, like, you know, heroin. Like,
I feel that. I've lost brothers to starting out from the prescriptions, moving on to harder stuff. So like I've seen it, and but the thing is, I've also been around friends where I've told not to do it, and at the time they wouldn't listen. So
right,
you know, I'm never gonna. We're all adults, but like I'm personally gonna say I won't do it. And if somebody asks me, hey, should I do this? I would tell them, no,
right,
don't do it.
right.
I'm
And
not
then,
gonna look at somebody and be like they're doing it and that's their, you know, if they're doing a perk 5 instead of drinking a beer at night, I can't go to them and be like, I'm your father, stop doing that.
no,
Like maybe if I have a good conversation with them and can lead them in the other direction without making them feel like I'm demanding them to go in the other direction, that's my goal in the long run. But at the same time, I just love that you're able to basically stand up on that soapbox and be like, hey, stop doing this.
yeah, bro. And I'm a outspoken person. You know, you get to talk to me and hear where I'm going, like, or we have a conversation. I'm gonna tell somebody like, yo, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, that's not how we at least the people that I'm around, like, yo, that's not what we do. Like, that's not where we came up. Like, that's not how we were. So why are we, what are we doing that for? Where's it coming from? So I always try to promote a message where I feel like I'm helping instead of harming. So that was one of those lines where I was like, okay, I got to make sure people hear this and hear what I have to say about it. So
No, I respect that. There was something in high school I wanted to create, and I still have it in the back of my pocket, but it was called Triple OD, and it was what I was going to say is organizations opposing overdoses, and it was going helping families that where unexpected death happened because of overdoses, and it was like I looked at that, but it was almost crazy because you could help, but there's so many families that are dealing with that pain that it would be hard to accommodate everyone, and like it's an idealist perspective, but you have to look at it from a realist view. So maybe you can mitigate it down to maybe like a city and help that city, because then you can do it on a real scope, you know what I mean? But yeah, no,
right.
I'm all for that, man. So I appreciated those lines, and you said lines about Perk, you said lines about Xanax, and like my two favorite rappers ever were Mac Miller and Lil Peep. You know what I mean? I lost them both back-to-back years, so it's like, and both I'm pretty sure fentanyl. So
Yeah.
fentanyl is that one thing, So yeah, I respected those lines more than you could ever know.
Word. I appreciate it, bro. And that's that's the point is to put words out there, and if people whether they get back to me or not, I always feel like I've done my job if you felt it. So yeah, that's love, bro. Appreciate that.
All right, so let's actually get into the breakthrough breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
For a brighter note, we're gonna go break down "Winning," which was one of the big singles that dropped off the project. And you
Right.
start out this with the Kobe quote: "Being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself." And then TC Beats wrote, after the death of Kobe, you wanted to use this audio clip from an interview with Kobe to just pay your respects. So can you dive into why you wanted to do that?
Man, Kobe was one of my that was one of my idols. I used to go to school in Boston, and it's like 2011 or some shit, and they would always have tickets to see the Boston Celtics and the Lakers play, and I've never went. I never went because I didn't have the money at the time, and I was like, I'll spend my money on. I'll see Kobe down the line. Like, I'll see him, you know what I'm saying? I'll eventually get tickets to see him play, but it never happened that way. And, his mentality, it helped me out a lot in times of need. Like, just even watching his highlight reels or listening to his interviews, and just seeing how he was on the court. Like, he was tenacious. He was a killer. Like, he had that killer instinct in him to get whatever he needed, and he would do it at whatever it took. So I was driving, and I was listening to NPR, because all I do is listen to NPR if I'm not listening to podcast or my own shit. And I heard them say, yes, NBA star Kobe Bryant passed away, helicopter crash. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I was
we all
so,
had the same news. It's like, are you serious?
what? That was,
Funny
that,
thing where you're like, you don't expect that. That's like, oh, that's definitely a rumor. Is you?
right. That's what I thought too, until I started to see it everywhere. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And his daughter passed away too. Like, and the people, everybody, it's like, yo, that was nuts. So, and he was he was about to start. He was about to take off in his like next chapter of his life, like where he was about to start doing a whole bunch of things, WNBA endorsements, and his daughter was going to go to UConn. And it's like, man, I have to take that mentality and I have to carry it on. So I used the quote because I was like, man, the least I can do is use that to let people know, like, yo, what he's saying is true. Like, you got to go for it. It's not for you. It's not for you. It's for me. I have to do it. And so rest in peace to him. And damn, yeah, that was tough. That was tough.
And it's a beautiful thing showing, just giving a nod to Kobe at the beginning of the song, especially with the title that's winning.
Right.
It really embodies that Mamba mentality. So that's awesome. So we go into the hook and you say, no cap, I've been really winning. Yeah. And then you talk about new era. This is a new beginning. So Beats said that you used a play on words here with no cap and new era, with New Era being a popular hat company. So
Yo, I will be honest. I didn't know I did that. I didn't know I did that. But this is the thing, right? This is where I feel like I'm a genius in itself, because I do that without thinking about the connection of it is. But it's true. So music is music. You know what I'm saying? You take it and you flip it. But I cannot take credit for putting those together. I was just really saying, like, no cap. I've been really new era, this the new beginning, but that's
your boy TC, he knew, bro. And that back to like super fans. They find things between the lines, bro.
right.
That's cool. I like that.
That's hard, bro. I'm telling you, there's somewhere in my brain I knew it was connected, but did I put it together? No. But that's hard.
You should go. So on Genius, it said it was unverified yet. You could like go in there and be like, yeah, I totally meant that.
That's a fact. Nah, that's a fact. I'm putting that's hard. That's hard. Yeah.
I love that, bro. That's really cool. All right, so in the first verse, you say, "Dreams of the rich when I'm out in NY, Marriott every week to buy a peace of mind." So when the world opens back up and you're back on the road, what are you going to do differently, even if it's just your mindset?
What am I going to do differently? I think I'm just gonna appreciate it more, to be honest with you. Appreciate every interaction and the fact that we're able to function properly. Dreams of the Ritz. Every time I'm in, that's where. So I stayed in the Ritz for my friends. He had a wedding, and we were there for his bachelor party. And man, I love hotels. Like, as a child, just going, like, traveling, the funnest part is going to a room or a hotel that has like a pool and has all the cool amenities. You know what I'm saying? But when I walked into the Ritz, man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The room we had was a master suite. So, that's kind of me speaking affirmations into my future. Like, when I am doing these shows and doing these tours, I want to be staying in the nicest of places. So that's like my, like, how people have their goals and shit like that. I'm big on luxury, but not like watches and chains and shit like that. More so like things that, like cars, but not like the most expensive cars in the world, just things that look comfortable to me. But being in places, hotels, because I've stayed in hotels with roaches in them, like you know what I'm saying? So to be at the top of somewhere like the Ritz is kind of crazy. And the Marriott every week to buy a peace of mind. So during this time, every week I was staying in the Marriott. It didn't matter which one it was, just to get away from everything. Like, so that was real. Like, every week, and I want to say for about 2 to 3 months, Saturday to Sunday, Friday to Sunday, I was staying in a different hotel, because that's where I find my peace. Like, I would just go there and literally just go to sleep, watch TV, go to sleep, like think about things, maybe go in the pool, go to sleep. Like, that's where I was finding peace within myself. So that shit renders real true to like what I was saying in the line. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and the next line that I picked out was, "Started with poverty, this is a monopoly. Every time that I speak business, come follow me. Penmanship out of this league, slow down." So I want you to dive in on this lyrics, or these.
So like I think the theme is winning, right, for the song. So again, I'm speaking positive affirmations into my life. Like, every time that I speak, business gonna follow me, penmanship out of league, you know, like I feel like one of the things that separates me from a lot of people, a lot of artists, is that I enjoy speaking and I know how to speak. And I speak freely, respectively. So I'm cool with doing interviews and everything like that. But I also know that that can lead, like, understanding to think in that realm, it can lead me to more business opportunities where I can sit in these room with these people and I can have these conversations with them. Like, yo, I'm not doing that because I know X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm not going to be one of those people who, yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not giving any content or input to the situation. So every time I speak, I feel like it's powerful and I feel like I can manifest anything that I want out of that. So me saying these things, every time that I speak, business gonna follow me, penmanship out of league, slow down. Don't fuck with niggas like Bobby V, follow the money tree, slept in the palms, it's on my future like the palm read. Like so that whole session, that whole play on words is just going back. Like, there's a lot of different things. Slow down, like slow down, Bobby Valentino, you know what I'm saying? Like Bobby V, like, and like there was a rumor he was messing with trannies and like don't fuck with niggas like Bobby V, follow the money tree, slept in the palms. I really stayed in the palms. And I saw my future like the palm read, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was there, I was like, wow, I'm in Vegas. This is lovely. This is where my life is going to take me, and this is where music is going to take me, and everything like that. So it was just bars. Like I said, it's just real slick talk where it's like you have to catch it, slow down. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's in a sense me telling myself to slow down. Like you know what I'm saying? You're talking, you might be saying too much. Like, so yeah, it was just one of those things, man. Yeah, for sure.
I really like one thing you said, the fact that you can really speak things into existence and you can manifest it. And
Yeah.
that's really important that artists need to realize that. All right, if you think about it, you have this song, you go and you write it. When you're sitting there writing it, you're saying that over and over and over again. If
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, it's not gonna be good energy. But if
Right.
you say, I I envision that I'm going to be doing this in the future. I'm going to have all the amenities that come along with this, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe that is in my future. You go and you repeat that so many times, writing it down. Then you go and you have to say so many times so you get it in your head. Then you go into the booth, you record it, then you hear it all those times,
Right.
all before it even comes out once. That's you just manifesting that entire time. So if you say the most positive things, positive things will come out. I saw that a lot in, like, I think it was Big Sean's Detroit too. He talked a lot about that type of stuff, and when you really speak it into existence, it pops out. And when you realize that, and you realize it's not a sham, it's not a joke, and it's just life how it works.
Right.
You literally are like your own. You're the writer of your own script.
Right. And that's why it's important to manifest positive thoughts through words, because words are powerful. And um you have to understand that, though, because if you don't understand that, then like you said, you're going to talk about things, and then you know like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, or whatever type of talk you're saying, like, essentially you're manifesting that. Like, you're working those things. When you say that, those things are working their way towards you because you're attracting it. So if I tell you, like,
Yeah, exactly.
right, law of attraction, what you're thinking, how you speak, that is going to come to you. So this whole record winning is just me saying things. Maybe I don't have it now, maybe I don't have Ritz Carlton money, but I know that's what I'm aiming for. Like, I was looking at, even like, I left there, I can't afford it, but I was looking at like the residencies there and seeing how much they costed. And I was like, oh, that's not too bad. That's not, I mean, that's expensive, but if you have it, then you understand, like, small things like that. So it was just really speaking everything into existence. Like, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, versus where, I used to rap a lot and just talk about how, you know, I felt like I was being slept on. I don't care about that no more. Like, it doesn't matter to me no more. That doesn't move me the way it used to. And even just to fast forward to the end of the project, we'll get to it, but there's a line in there where I said, the pain's the motivator. Now it's time for new replacements. Like it's time for newer things to have you work hard for and off of. Not every time I feel pain, I have to go out and record it and talk about it. Like my life is different now. So yeah.
Like you said, different motivators.
Mm-hmm. And it helps, but I mean it's like we want greater things than that. So
Man. All right, so let's see. I have two more quotes that I wanted to get out of here. The first one of it is, when I snap poetry in motion, it's all clear. Turn a 5-minute set into some shit you're gonna hear. Did the showcase, now they pay me to appear. Stayed on track, never swerved, never veered. So important, probably, if not my favorite bar on the entire project, because of how big of a gem it is to people that don't understand that. So can you please dive into that?
That's hard. Yeah, nah, man. I think I was playing on the poetry. You go to poetry slams, and they're snapping. You know what I'm saying, and as an applause. But I did the showcase. Now they pay me to appear. To the 5-minute sets of some shit you gotta hear. Like I did 5-minute sets at showcases, and off of those, out my 5-minute set was better than people who actually had sets. Like it didn't matter if I was the headliner or not. Or I mean, if they were the headliner or not, it didn't matter. I was dope. I knew I was dope. But starting out my career early, the reason why I'm able to perform the way I perform now and I truthfully feel myself up there is because I used to do showcases in Connecticut. I used to do paid showcases in Connecticut, and like you have to pay $250, blah, blah, blah. I went to New York. My first show I ever did was in Long Island, and it was a showcase that I paid $154 for one song, to perform one song in front of a vast amount of people. It was a good amount of people in that club. And I lost, but I wasn't from there, so that's why I lost. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of already knew who was gonna win. So early in my career, man, I did a lot of just paying to perform type shit, and now I don't do shows unless it's an opportunity or I'm getting paid to do it, and I work myself into that position. I'm not doing shows. I'm not doing your showcase. I don't give a fuck who it is unless it makes sense. Like if it's like, okay, I'm doing I gotta pay to perform at Hot 97 or some shit like that, where it's gonna give me an opportunity to blah, 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 blah. But even that, I'm still like, eh. So I work myself into that. And that's why I say I stayed on track. I never swerved, never veered. Like I knew what I was gonna do. I knew I needed to gain experience. I knew I needed to understand how it felt to be in front of a crowd of 10 people, 20, 30, hundreds, thousands. Now I know that. My biggest shows I didn't have to pay for. Now I know that, and now I'm not paying for that shit because I know I can do. It don't matter where I perform. I can perform in a garage, or I could perform in front of 10 people, and I could still have that same amount of energy that I have if there's hundreds of people there and they know my shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important as artists. You got to know your path, know where you're going. Sometimes the road is a little bumpy, but if you keep going straight, eventually you're gonna find, the roads have to be paved and it's gonna be nice, it's gonna be smooth sailing. So that was important. Those lines for sure.
Yeah, man. And that's why you had to go back and listen to it a couple times to make sure that you caught that gem. Because if maybe on first listen, you may just hear the flow, but the flow is not what we're trying to depict out of your music. Which those lyrics that you soak in, and then you're teaching. You got to think about it like what you put out. If you're a rapper, you're going to be the celebrity to this younger generation. So why not influence them in the right direction, like you were talking about before? Give them the information they need to be that guru.
Right. And I studied people like that. Like I studied artists like that, and that's how I became the artist I am myself. Is because I studied other artists who laid that type of foundation. A lot of what we were doing too was based off of how Nipsey Hussle was moving. and a lot of his independent marketing. Rest in peace to him too. Not the same, different artists, but the same type of mentality with how we chose to move forward. So it's important. It's important, man. It's like a diet, bro. Like what you say, what you speak, what you eat, all that shit is a part of you, and you can only give it to other people. And if it ain't good, then you're not feeding the people right. You know what I'm saying? So
right, health isn't just physical, it's this thing up here too.
it's mental. Yeah, that's important, bro. So I'm glad you caught that shit, man. Because like I said, I say a lot of things, and I always feel like, man, if people listen more than once, how I know you'll be reeled in to keep listening and hearing what I have to say. So thank you for that, bro. That feels good to hear.
Like I said, like I grew up in like a lot of my artists that I studied like early on, like Cole and Kendrick, I was obsessed with trying to find that like I said before with, hey, is there anything behind the quotation marks and non-quotation?
Right.
I try to find that thing where it's like, aha. I remember listening to like a Drake song, and he said something about a certain date, and it lined up with his birthday, and it lined up with the fact that it was about to be his album that he was about to drop. And I was like, I had a whole conspiracy theory, like he's dropping on this date, didn't drop at all. But it's like, it's just like people thought that Kendrick was releasing an album after Damn. They had a whole theory, and I think it was called Nation, so then it would be Damnation. And then it was like, no, but I mean, smart.
I remember that. But see, when you can get people to think that deeply about what you're doing your job. You know what I'm saying? As an artist. Yeah, that's important.
They're doing fan fiction of your music career.
Right, right. And that feels, and to be honest, bro, that feels good, man. Coming from a place, I'm still humble as fuck. Like I'm a humble person.
From humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings, bro. You know what I'm saying? So to hear that, when there were times where people like like people I grew up with don't support my shit. But to hear people who, I didn't or I met along the way and they support me and want to hear more and dive more, it feels good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that whole winning record, it just embodies what I want, my life, where I want my life to go. And even some of the things I'm saying in there, like the Amazon burning up, like tell you the terrorists and turban is forming up, like those are lines where I'm still saying things, but it's just the flow. It's just a different flow and over a different kind of beat, but I'm still teaching. I feel like I'm still giving gems, like you said. So yeah.
Hey, they always say like a child, all it does is it soaks up information from whoever it's getting that information from. So you being one of those sources of information means they're going to grow up. I keep on saying this, going back to what you said about the guru, they're going to grow up and become a guru. They're going to know about the law of attraction from age 8 instead of age 20, and get to spend those extra 12 years really pursuing what they want to do and understanding the real concepts of life, and not this
Right.
perceived concept of
Right.
life we have.
Right.
Yeah, man. So one last thing, I'm gonna keep on this point. What, from from controlling the butterflies in your stomach to seeing the crowd as big as thousands, what would you say are your biggest tips? Let's say 3 tips for performing, big to small.
The first tip to performing is, if you're a rapper, you should never be performing with your song. Like, you should have a performance track. That's number one, because people came there to see you perform. They wanted to hear the record. They could have just stayed in their house or wherever and played the song loud. I think two is stage presence. I think you have to be in tune with um everything around you, everything that's happening on the stage. Like, while you're on stage, you have to know, you know, I was on tour with KRS-One, and he was telling me one of the biggest things he does when he goes into a venue is he he starts out in the back of the venue, listens to how the music sounds. Closer, how's the music sound? How's the mic level? Like all that shit is important because it's your show, it's your set. So if the music don't sound right or it ain't loud enough, um, then that essentially falls on you for not being prepared and handling those things. Unless it's technical difficulties, you can't do nothing about it. But also knowing the stage, knowing where you can go, where places you can go on the stage that don't have feedback. Okay, there's feedback over here. You got to make sure you're within line of the speakers. If the stage is small, if it's big, where can you stand? Where are the cameras being pointed? So you just have to be aware of everything on stage. And the third thing I would say for performers is um is just like remember that people came there to see you and not the other way around. Like I always tell people, yo, if there's a stage, even if it's like, small, you gotta work that stage because you don't need to go into the crowd. And I mean, if that's your style, that's your style. Just for me, I don't go into the crowd and try to get people to pay attention to me. Like if I'm on the stage, you guys are going to listen to what I have to say. It doesn't matter if you're way in the back. It doesn't matter. You're in the venue. You're like, that's one of the biggest things that I think people do. They get frustrated when people aren't in front of them and it doesn't look like a big crowd. It's like, you got people in here already. They don't know who you are. Maybe they do. But like the fact that they're in the building is good enough. Perform and they're going to be attracted to what you have to say, or they're not. If you're not dope, then they just going to them, they don't give a fuck. So it's like, you have to understand that you're a performer, so you have to perform. You can't, and it's not just always just rapping. Sometimes it's being interactive with the crowd. Sometimes it's saying things to make people feel interested, like not berating people for not walking up. I hate when artists performing and are like, yo, I need everybody to come to the motherfucking stage right now. Da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, yo, you're not telling me what to do, so I'm not moving. Like I'm gonna sit back here and listen, because not everybody's experience when they go to concerts is everybody wants to be in the front. So you can't do that to people. I'm not doing that. You're not about to get me standing in front of you like while you perform. I don't give a fuck about you. So I'm gonna listen to the music back here because it should sound as good as it does as if I'm close. So you know what I'm saying? So those would be the three things. Just making sure it's important. But the number one thing is never perform with your backgrounds ever, unless you have to. But don't do it. It fucks everything up.
I didn't realize that. Like probably my first couple of years going to concerts, I didn't, or at least like local concerts and hearing rappers like perform with their track in the background. I was like, what's like wrong with this? Like what's going on? And it's like what it was that they would probably cut. They'd be like da 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 da. And it's like still going on in the background, and they're just like, yeah, hyping it up, but they're really like doing the lyrical performance that we're there to see.
Right. Because that's a thing too, is like people want an experience. So if you're performing properly and you're performing a record, I don't know what it is. It's just something with the brain. It's like when you're up there and people can hear your voice clear, you're gonna grab way more people if they really love.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like instead of you making that record and it was like directed towards the world, like you didn't have a certain person in mind, you're directing this song that I love towards me.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
And I think that's so key. And a point that I want to bring up that you said before was not everybody wants to be at the front. I'm the guy, even at the Xfinity Center, me and my girlfriend bought a blanket, went over to the left and just sat there and listened to the music. I'm like the old school type guy that would go into the jazz club with a cigarette and a sandwich and sit in the back dim lit room and then listen to the music and then find the talent. That's right. What I like to do. So I feel that when I hear that, I'm like, I mean, I will go up because I don't want them to feel like nobody's going to listen to them. But at the same time, it's like, I'm different. And you got to realize that different fans are different.
Right. And they're here. Like, that's why I was telling Dante that, because Dante don't do that. But I was just telling him, like, we're having a conversation. I was like, bro, like, they're here. The people are in the venue. They're not outside. They're like, you have a group of people, whether it's 10, 15, 100, they're there. So why are you asking more from them? Like, we as humans don't like to be told what to do. Like, I remember there was this dude, it was at some, I think it was a show, and he was like, oh, he was like, niggas in the back, y'all looking too cool to move up. And I'm like, see, that's how you get me to leave the place. Like, I'll leave because of that. And now you just lost somebody who could have been like really a fan or whatever. Like, don't do that, because I don't like to be up front. I don't like to be near people in the first place. So like, I'm not doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing that shit because you want me to, motherfucker. I'm here. Like, and I'm an artist myself. So when people tell me that, it's like, bro, you're not telling, my ego gets involved. It's like, I'm better than you. So don't, like, you don't need to talk to me any type of way, like how I start to feel. So, yeah, man, just perform. That's it. Stop asking so much from people and just do your thing, and people will love you or they don't. And then you carry on.
If
You
you
know what I'm saying?
and people will notice you are. It's like, do you think about all these artists that are big now? You think that when they were small, that people were like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna be Beyonce, or she's definitely gonna be Beyonce, he's definitely gonna be Drake. No, these were just
Right,
like, they were like, oh, another fucking rapper coming up on stage. Like,
right,
and
right,
it's like,
right.
you have to just like know that time it's time is time. You got to let it happen and let it unfold, and then if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. All those obstacles are placed in front of us for a reason. Let
Right,
it unfold.
right. And I agree. It builds character too. Definitely builds character.
Word. And we actually dived on into the last quote that I was going to bring up, so I don't have to bring that up. But I wanted to talk about the music video and how that came into fruition, and you got the dance team involved too. Now, I thought that was cool. That was a little like breakup in the music video that you don't have in the actual song anyway. So it just freshens it up, gives you a little like, okay, this is different. This is the music video. You're getting more.
Right, right. That came through. Um, I want to say not last minute, but I hit them up last minute, probably like a week before I shot the video, because I needed dancers, because I wanted to incorporate. I just wanted it to be fun. You know what I'm saying? I wanted the video to feel fun. I wanted it to be something that I haven't done, which is something like that, is like having actual dancers in the video. And I was like, man, that'd be a real cool idea. Um, Even like the little acting scene in between, you know what I'm saying? That was cool. And it brought me back to times where, where they shot videos and they did have that, like those elements, like watching old I think it was Lean Back, the Lean Back video, and I want to say it was Kevin Hart at the door. But when before the video started and they were letting people in, and people were like, people weren't getting in, he was like, "Yo, Fat Joe," then he comes through, whatever. But like Hype Williams and Busta Rhymes and all those videos have some type of character to it, so I thought that was kind of cool, a cool element to add. And even me dancing at the end, like those were outtakes, but it was fun. So they came through and they did their thing. They came up with the choreography. Actually, when I pulled up, I was yeah I was actually late, and I seen people dancing in the parking lot where I told them to meet us, and I'm like, that must be them right there. Like, and they were dancing to the song, and they were getting busy. So yeah, no, they did their thing, man. Double Up, I think they work out of Double Up Studio in New Haven or Bridgeport, one of the two. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but you can find all of them on social media. I don't have all their ats, but yeah, no, they were dope, bro, and they did their thing, and it brought another element to the music. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Exactly. Just tied it all together. That's great. All right. So we're now out of that song. Let's go to 100 Million. And this is the one where you said it's like this version's Ruin the Party, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is featuring Dante as well. This is
Yeah.
the one we were talking about with the Woo. So yeah, how did this come to fruition?
So Josh played this beat for me, I want to say like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And with him, because that's my homie. So I told him, I said, yo, if you don't have this beat sold, I got something for that. And like, just give me a few months. Like, give me a few months to figure out what I'm gonna do. And if you have it by the time I'm ready, then I'm gonna have some shit for it. And he didn't sell it. He still had it sitting around. And mind you, I haven't heard the beat since the day that he played it. So I was like, yo, what was that beat? And he played it again. And then I took it and I started writing to it. So originally what I wanted to do was have I think I wanted to have Say Kiro doing the like featured on it originally. And I hit him up, hit his management up, and it just didn't work out because I didn't want to do the singing auto tune part. I felt like that would have been cool to have him do it, but then I was just like, fuck it, yo. I'm just gonna do it. And I'm not writing two verses to this song because I don't want to. So Dante, we're gonna add you and add a 16. So um he wrote his 16, and then we came back. My process with music is different. So I'll have the song, he recorded his verse, and then we actually had to go in and okay, let's take this out, let's add this. Once we had the skeleton of what we wanted, Josh took it back, added more elements. He added a narco sample in there. During that little breakdown, it's like the you ever watch Narcos?
Yes, yeah. I at least
You know
watched
that.
the first 2 seasons.
Okay, but do you know the dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, like I can't make the noise, but it's like when they go into the introduction of the show, and they always have that
Oh,
noise,
okay.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but so he put that in there. He came back, put that in there, and it just was like a masterpiece, kind of putting it together. And it was just one of those records that was fun. And I actually wrote a different hook to it, and then he was like, Josh was like, nah, you gotta change that. You gotta put something that we feel or people are gonna feel. So that's why it came. It was a little, I think I was a little drunk that day too when I recorded it. And I wrote it and I was just like, years in the making. I came from humble beginnings and we didn't see a ceiling. We was living off the writtens, just trying to make a killing, trying to make a So when I did that noise, I thought about Kanye and how he does his production and he does those screams. So when I went up, well, I took it to New York with my homie Max and he mixed it. I was like, yo, you got to give that part of the song like a certain like that feel, and he already knew what I was talking about, put it together, and then the rest is history, bro. Like that song isn't as doesn't have much because it was just fun. You know what I'm saying? It was there's not too much of a message behind it besides the simple fact that we can rap. Like I said, the first four songs is just getting my shit off, like just rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like I played the game well enough that I could spot a bluff. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so. Yeah, it was one of those things where I just have to get my shit off. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and then that's when once we finish 100 million, then it goes into When a Man Cries. And this
Right,
is when you say you start expanding your sound, right? And showing what
right,
you're going to be bringing. So let's dive into
right.
this song, which was another one that there's a couple of them that I just went and I like realized myself hitting the plus, or not the plus, the heart button, just because like off top, I was like, oh yeah, I like this one. So, and
Yeah,
there's ones that I liked. And usually I'm not. I don't say I don't like songs like this, but it was definitely like cool that I was like intrigued by the song. You know what I mean?
right. And it has a genuine progression throughout the song. I think the song's only like 3 minutes, but how we built it, it was like two different beat switches up, and then 808 comes in, and it was just one of those things. How it came about was Dante, he plays the keys, and Josh actually made the beat, but he sampled him playing the keys because he was doing it for Bristol Nights, and we just took a piece of what he was playing and he sampled it and I filtered it and then threw the beat on it. So the first half of the song is kind of just me talking about before the beat drops. After the first hook is just me talking about my situation. Like M7 was the name of the cell. Like I was telling you, me and my brother were fighting. Like we got locked up. It wasn't long or no shit like that. But I never see myself being behind a jail cell. You know what I'm saying? And middle finger, fuck a copper. See, I learned it by 12. Like try not to generalize, but they saving themselves. Coworkers doing wrong. Justification needs help. Might hold a grudge, but that shit ain't freeing myself. I'm searching for a peace of mind that might cost me my health. Let's go. So that's like the introduction of where I'm about to take this shit. Like things that really were fucking with me mentally. Like that's why I said like I'm searching for a peace of mind, but might cost me my health. Like I have to like I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing to feel better. I have to do better. I have to lead by example. And that whole police altercation really fucked me up for a while. and I still don't trust cops, but there's not all cops are bad, just like all people aren't bad, and et cetera, et cetera. But for a while, it was a lot of resentment, and I still have it. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I have to continuously work towards. Um, just myself, not necessarily how I feel outwardly, but it was also speaking on just how things are in our society. Like, you know what I'm saying? If a cop does something wrong, it's like they just all justify it. Like, I'll never forget, I got tased. Long story short, like I got tased and shit like that twice. And it was interference. I got charged with interference. And the cases got dropped, and you know, it's not on my record or nothing like that. But the sheet that they did it, it was like it was there was six different notes, write-ups with the cops, and each one was like this thick of paper about the whole incident. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to my lawyer at the time, and he was like, yeah, you know what? We've never seen this much for an interference and a breach of peace before, like, because it was a whole fucked up situation. And I really could have sued him, but I didn't want that on my conscience. I didn't want to keep waiting around and be on trial and da 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 da. But
Like,
yeah, yeah, it wasn't I was past it, and I'll never forget because they had body cam footage, and I watched it with my lawyer, and the sergeant who actually got me tased, he knew my uncle. Like him and my uncle were friends, but he didn't know like I was his nephew. And like I wasn't doing anything that was gonna harm anybody that would have warranted me to get tased. I was just talking. Like I'm going to talk. You're not gonna tell me I can't. And long story short, I got tased, right? It's not funny, but I got tased, and on the body cam footage, as I was getting snatched up, the sergeant was like, I don't. He said, I don't understand you people. And I said, when I watched it, I was like, whoa, he could really, like, that's some shit where he can go down for. But I wasn't gonna do that, just because it just wasn't how I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? But that whole first part of the verse was basically kind of talking about that incident and giving a brief look on it. And then after that, when I start rapping and the 808s come in, it's just everything that troubles me. And I feel like men in general, you know what I'm saying? Like just the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis that we don't really get to express because we are men, and like you have to carry this chip on your shoulder. You can't be vulnerable. So it was just one of those things and one of those songs where I was like, I just want to rap, but I want to give a message. So in the hook, it's like,
I think I lost you. And starting recording. We're good.
so the hook was basically like, you know, tell me your frustrations. Are they blatant or they blanket? We try to make amends, but it feel harder when you say it. The world's on your shoulders, never pausing or delaying. Supposed to have it all, but never teach you how to save it. Yeah. So just briefly, that's pretty much the whole concept. I feel like what it is to be like a man in this society, at least. The expectations, you know, to obtain something that you've never experienced before, and then know how to keep that, you know, whether that's just you know, whatever it is for you. But for me personally, it was just my emotions, understanding them, and knowing how to control them, and even finances, and just, you know, you're supposed to have it all. Like you're supposed to come with everything and these expectations, but a lot of times we don't know how to keep them. Like, you know, they say the hardest thing is to keep what you have, whether, you know, it doesn't matter what it is. So I just felt like that was one of those songs where um I got to really say how I felt about a lot of those things, and I felt good after doing that. And the way that the song goes and the beat, it starts to change as time goes on. It just gives it a different mood and like a different feeling. So I felt like it was one of those songs where it was a good starting point to get into like me digging deeper into who I was as a person. Because like I said, to me, it's broken up in like three parts. It's broken up in the first four. I'm kind of just, you know, turn up party, talk your shit, confident, etc. But now, you know, these next few songs, it gets a little deeper. Like I start to outwardly express to people how I think about things and who I am as a person. So When a Man Cries was one of those records where I thought it was powerful. And I think when you go back and you listen to it, I think it's more relatable, you know, like I said, more times. You know, I just, even lines of like, yeah, like had this shorty busted open just like Peter Pan. Shit was disgusting, had me lusting, did it all for nothing. Little attention, but she draining energy consumptions. A little buzz, but I'm bugging, dodging the real discussions. Like how if I cried thinking they never love them, and if I died, who really gonna feel the numbness? So that was one of those things where, you know, as men, we try to, you know, we take our pains and our sorrows and we drown them. You know what I'm saying? We do whatever we have to do to not think about them. And I really did that. Like that whole moment and the whole expression that I'm saying is true. Like it's not, like I said, I'm not the type of person to put lyrics and lines in there that don't resonate with me or if I didn't do it. So that was one of those things where I was like, okay, I got to make sure I use that and just continue to get my message across. So
Oh, man. What about
yeah.
that was, you know, Getaway was one of my dark horse picks. You know, I really liked it. And I think that and it was Getaway and Don't Worry were my two dark horses.
Getaway and Don't Worry. Getaway is I think my best writing was done on Getaway. I feel like that was one of those, that was another record that was produced by Josh. And the same thing, he played it for me in a batch of beats. And I told him, I said, yo, I think he played it for me last summer and or May, something like that. And I was like, yo, if you don't got this off to nobody, I know I have some shit for that. I just don't know what it is yet. And I'm not gonna just jump on the beat and have it. So months down the line, similar thing to the 100 million, he sent it to me. And I was just like, yo, all right. Or well, I asked him for it and he said, okay, I give it to you. And I was like, yo, I have some first. So that was my favorite writing on that song right there. Out of all the songs that I did, that's probably the one where I have the most double entendres and the slickest talk and but I'm actually saying some shit. So yeah, that was my favorite song off the project.
Oh, that's
One
awesome.
of them at least.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that. And one of the lines that really stood out to me, just because I'm a Connecticut hip hop head, I think you said annoyed by the Webby Connect.
Right.
I was just like, and for people that don't know, Webby's main artist that he just signed was Annoyed. And for me, I was like, whoa, that's a very just like get your attention type bar.
Yeah. And I wrote it in regards to that because it definitely wasn't a shot. It could be taken that way. I don't give a fuck, but it wasn't a shot towards anything. It was more so I was thinking about, you know, the top tier artists in Connecticut and the people who they deem to be the most the best, whatever the case is. And those two names popped in my head and I always see them around and you know what I'm saying, but in retrospect of how I was saying it was annoyed by the web he connects in every circle check the radius like it was a double entendre.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Can you say that, please?
Huh?
Can you say that again? Like I want to hear that. So annoyed by the okay.
So it was let me just, I gotta think of the full scope of that whole line. Nigga, okay, it goes, niggas out of pocket talking like they dual threats, annoyed by the web he connects in every circle check the radius. I speak with passion, that's just how he gets. Yeah, I speak with passion, that's just how he gets. So from the top of that line, it was me addressing everybody. Niggas out of pocket, you know what I'm saying? Like acting like they're dual threats. Like a lot of people, you know, they're not as good as they seem, or they're very one-dimensional, you know what I'm saying? Annoyed by the web he connects, annoyed by the web he connects, in every circle check the radius. I feel like me being where I'm at, I feel like who I am. I feel like I've been in almost every circle, whether people know it or don't. So whether I'm known or not, people champion me to be the best or they don't. I've been in every circle and I've had an influence. I feel like personally, or I know somebody who's directly connected to this person, but I don't use those connects or anything like that. So it was just a play on words, and I felt like those two names are there, and how can I spin that and flip that to be something that could be intriguing to the ear? And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it wasn't meant to be like taken as a shot, but like I said, if it is, it is. Like I'm here, but that wasn't my intention. It was definitely just a play on words, especially with the two top artists and paying homage in a sense.
Yeah, and I did when I listened, it didn't sound like a shot. It sounded like, all right, hey, you guys are two big lyricists. I am too. That's kind of it made me be like, okay,
Right.
and I do like when it comes to bar for bar. When I think of artists in Connecticut, you are one of the artists that I put up there with those guys. So I don't think it didn't
Sure.
sound like a shot. And just you explaining it a little bit more, making me realize that it's annoyed by the web. He can like it. I thought
Yeah,
that.
not annoyed by the Webby connect. Like no, like the Web he connects, right? And that's where my genius and my slickness comes. But like I said before, rappers are rappers and people spin things. So if it wants to be taken that way, that's fine. But that wasn't my intentions at all. But like I said, I'm like I told you before, I've arrived, so it don't fucking matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. But yeah, no, just annoyed by the Webby connects in every circle, check the radius. Like that's a crazy bar to me. That's a crazy sequence of lines that I put together. Like I said, this is probably my best writing that I've done on the album. I feel like this one and How Do You Know are the two where I feel like I wrote the best on. So yeah.
Okay, and that's a perfect segue into How Do You Know? So how did that
Mm-hmm.
come to fruition?
How Do You Know was I had that beat for like two and a half years. And I would just ride around listening to it, just bopping to it. And I didn't know what to write. And then it came to just one night, I think I went through a lot of shit and I just banged out the verses. How do you know? Oh, like and just that concept. And I was like, I can, how do you know when you reach in the top? Like I can do that, but I need someone to do the higher version of it. And Dante was the perfect because he can sing as well. Like I said, he could do pretty much anything. And he just came in and he blazed that and we put it together. But that was one of those records where I was just looking at myself like, you know, going through a lot. Like, how do you know when you've arrived? Like, how do you know when you've became the person you're supposed to be? Never know until it creeps up on you. The paranoia on your sleeve when the reaper haunts you. Normally start to believe. Normally start to believe when the people flaunt you. I swear that shit will cost you. Just gotta keep it cordial. Like so, in the sense of saying, um, once you start to believe in your fame or your celebrity, that's when it starts to affect you personally, mentally, and your ability to grow because now you're believing um what everybody else is and you're becoming in a sense like elevated to a point where you have to you have to humble yourself more. Just got to keep it cordial. Like you got to act like I do a lot of I'm online all the time, but I'm not one of those people that has to go out and look for validation anymore. So I think when people go out and they look for that, it kind of affects how it just affects you mentally and how you grow as an artist. So the first verse is pretty much me saying, you know, how do I know, trying to figure it out. And then the second verse before the beat switches is me saying, this is what I want out of life. Like this is what I want. I want a car with uh no credit card limit, no chain on my neck. You know what I'm saying? Like just small things where I feel like that's what I would want when I become successful in the person I'm supposed to be. So, and then the second half when the beat switches is just me being like an artist and just really getting back to the roots of where I fell in love with music, like the J Dilla and the boom bap sound. So I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna rap over that and just spit, talk my shit. So that was one of those things where um, I was in tune with every part, every pocket of the beat. Um, and I loved it. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those things I could listen to continuously and be like, yo, this dude is like, I listen to myself as if I'm not myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this dude is, yeah. And then, oh, yo, let's do this.
A fan of your own self and not put, you have, as an artist, you have to think from a fan's perspective, because you can't think every single thing you drop is dope because, or everything that you write is dope. You have to like view it from that objective standpoint. Like, well, like, yeah, I like this, but will my fans like it? Or will the others like it? Will the masses like it? Or will my targeted audience like it?
Right. Right. And it's not a lot of times that I step outside of myself and think like that. But this project, I did a lot of that. I did a lot of thinking about how it sounds to listen from a perspective that it's not me doing it. Like if this was just anybody, like how would I feel? And it's dope. And I feel like those two back to back with When a Man Cries was, like I was saying, like the perfect kind of segue into just giving you a deeper look on who I am.
Yeah, those three songs packed together is like, it's like an EP in itself. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
It's really, like, all right, we did the hype stuff. Now we got When a Man Cries.
right.
Finish that, you get to Getaway, and you're like, boom, all right. And then you go to How Do You Know? And the fact
Mm-hmm.
that you brought up Dilla made me so happy, because around, I think this is the one where I pointed out at the 3 minute mark when the beat did switch up. It gave me vibes, and I didn't think Dilla, but when you say Dilla now, it just like, yes, 100% was
Mm-hmm.
the vibe that I got when I heard that. And I was like star 3 minutes, like. And I really appreciate it, like the little things when you go and you switch it up and you change it just a hair, but it makes such a big difference.
Right. And that's the artistry element that I'm starting to develop more as a songwriter and as a just a creative is having those things, but not being forced. Like that beat switch was not forced, and going into it, the lead into it was not forced to me, and that's why it took a while for me to write and record to it, because I heard the whole beat in full. I didn't hear a loop. I heard it, so I had to make sure everything I was doing was analyzed properly, and it was. So yeah, that was some of my favorite writing. Those two back to back were really um something that I thought was really dope. And even just to go back to Get Away, one of the bars that I just want to point out that I thought was really dope was the second verse was probably, when people go back and listen to that on Getaway, I think that was some of the top tier writing I've heard, just in general. And it was thinking so far ahead of time, you misled, misread, drive the Lex sick for the days we lived in red, below the poverty level, what kept us strong and fed. No government cheese, we have ramen instead. Burning CDs and watching movies relieve the stress. A dollar in a dream, but with the hope we would invest. I'm praying for better days. Tupac said it best. Tired, but I barely rest. And even though I rubber wrong, we never lost a thread. I'm on my sophomore year. This feel like my second leg, where the growth ain't hormones or stones. We mending broken codes. I felt inspired before I hit the bed. Like that was just some of the realest shit that I put together. So those two songs back to back, I was in the zone, and I made sure I lined them up that way too. So
That's
yeah.
so important. Just, you can talk about it with playlisting, you can talk about it with albums and mixtapes. Sequencing
Mm-hmm.
is by far the most important thing. I was listening to Troy Taylor, who did some stuff for Trey songs, and he
Mm-hmm.
was in Clubhouse, and he was just talking about the importance of sequencing, because of the fact he was like, I want the listener to not want to skip a song.
Right.
Even if like one song isn't as strong as the others, if you sequence it correctly, it fits into the pocket.
Right. And that's important. I don't think a lot of people take that. That's an art in itself, just being creative. And I think more artists should pay attention to that because it's important. Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Okay, so now we're gonna get into probably what I'm gonna say is just my favorite collaboration. I don't know if it's my favorite song on the project, F.O.N.S.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this. What is the acronym?
It stands for fear of not succeeding. So I just know the F.O.N.S, right? It was just this cool dude, and everybody wanted to be the F.O.N S. But I did kind of my own rendition of that, and just the type of concept that I was creating around it was like, you know, there everyone is acting like they're cool, like everyone's okay, like I'm the coolest person. I'm, you know what I'm saying? I go around and I'm dope, whatever. But the reality of it is when you strip all that away, you have to kind of tackle what really like your insecurity. So for me, the biggest thing that I fear is not succeeding, like not being successful. And I thought it was the perfect acronym, the perfect type of song. And just, you know, even the second verse, truth is a lot more hurt than I'm alluding to face the facts. I Mr. Duce with the apple juice, a little bent, but the pressure I'm not conforming to. So it's like, I'm telling you what I'm scared of in a sense. And I'm telling you exactly what I do when I start to feel those feelings. Like I start to dive into things where it's probably not the best for me. So I'm being vulnerable, but it's on a catchy beat and the hook is good. So it's like it has a nice pace to it. And it was one of those records I was like, you know what? After a Jay Dilla sample and like those type of drums, the best thing to do is to come in with something that's a little more soulful right after that, and that beat gives it that. So that's why I sequenced them that way, because it was like, now we're gonna, that's an easy transition into the song for the ladies, because now I can do Fonz, picture that, steal my love, and then we're good there. You know what I'm saying? So that was important. But that record in itself, I thought was a really dope collaboration. And shout out to Stephanie. There's so many people who thought she was fucking, yeah, she did, yo. They thought she was fucking Beyonce. I'm like, yo, that's nuts that people would think that. But I saw and heard that, and I kind of knew if we did a record together, it would sound like that. So yeah, that shit was cool. It was cool.
And you said then it flows into Picture That. So that's the one with Rico, another just like fire collaboration. And like what you said, I didn't even notice that the chemistry you guys had was so sudden. It wasn't years in the making. So let's dive into working with Rico and then working with, is it E Hard? Is how you pronounce it?
E Hard Media for the video.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to Eric and shout out to Rico. Yeah, I think he really liked the record. Like he really liked the record, and that was one of the things he said to me when I sent it to him. He was like, "Yo, this shit is fire. We gotta da 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 da." Like he was already invested before he sent me the vocals back. So I think knowing that he was invested and seeing how much he enjoyed it, I think it made the chemistry a lot better, because I knew it. Like I said, I knew that it was gonna be dope. I just needed the right vocals on it, and he sent it back, and the rest was history, man. It was real simple, like how that exchange went, because he had his own engineering team and everything like that. So it was he sent it back within a week, and the song was done, and it was just a feel good record, which tied us into shooting a video with Eric, and just wanted to be a fun, like I said, another fun video. Just looks like we were having a good time, and
have the little skit in the middle, like just spice it up.
Yeah, yeah, and I did that skit too because I wanted people to know like Dante produced it, so that's him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's him doing that to the girl, and woo, picture that. Like so, it was just something to keep it fun, because I like shooting videos. I like a little comic relief, and I want to show different elements of that. So Eric, when he shot it, he's always a beast when he cuts everything up. So I knew We were in good hands with that. And John, steady hands with Noir Film Shot winning as well. So just to make sure I give him credit.
Yeah,
But
of
yeah,
course, 100%.
yeah.
Videographers and directors are so integral to
Hmm.
artist success in Connecticut as well as anywhere, really. Because think about it, you don't have visuals and you're just dropping shit on SoundCloud, and then your profile picture is an anime character, you're
Right.
not gonna resonate with all the fans that you're trying to get. But like for example, with you, I see your face. I see it every single time there's a release. You know, you're out there, you're promoting it, you have the visuals, everything. Like visuals are just like I think the most important thing. Obviously, bar none, you have to have good music. But
Yeah, but the
if
visuals are
you're
important.
vision, what the next step you have to do is that visual.
Right. And I've always been big on videos and movies and TV shows. So
Hmm.
anything that we do, I want it to be that type of quality because I grew up doing that. Like I didn't grow up with cable. I watch movies. You know what I'm saying? I burn CDs. I know just a whole bunch of. I'm one of those people that like if I'm watching a movie, or older movies or whatever, I can know exactly what's happening. I'm talking through the movie, like you know what I'm saying. So it's like I grew up like that. So it's like now when I put it into my own work, it's like why would I not want that attention to detail if I've been studying it, subliminally or subconsciously been studying how things should look for the longest time, and that's cuts, and that's da 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 da, and scenery, angles, color, etc., clothes. So why should I not pay that same amount of attention to detail to my own? And I think I like doing that. I like coming up with treatments for videos and shooting them and directing them, and even if it's not for me, for other people. Like I have a lot of great ideas when it comes to that. So you can get that with a team of people who can put your vision together, you're golden. And I have a solid group of people that I can always reach out to if I need something, a visual, and they'll bang it out and they'll get it done. So shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying, because that shit is important.
Hey, you're preaching straight facts. You know, having a team that's there and being the ones where it goes all the way back to what we were saying. They want you to just be the artist because they know you're a good ass artist. So
Right.
instead of you having to, yes, you're doing a little bit of understanding the marketing, but instead of you having to be like, all right, now I gotta like learn how to do the video camera so that I can then shoot this
Right.
video. It's like, no, somebody that's already a master of their class is like, all right, here, let me guide you along, and then you're already dope enough. All we need to do is bring our energy together, and 1+1 = 3.
Right. Right. And I was reading, I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and he was talking about Henry Ford, and he was talking about he wasn't the smartest. He didn't know everything, but he had a button that he could press to get somebody who knew whatever he needed. And I think as an artist, that is important because you cannot do everything. And I try to tell people that because I started doing that, and I was like, whoa, 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 I'm losing myself as an artist now. So you just have to know the right people to get in contact with, and they're a master in this. Like he's a videographer. He works for the NFL Network. So why would I pick up a camera when I know I can reach out to my guy who knows that everything there needs to be done about, with cameras and visuals and editing? Why would I do that? It's a waste of time. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
speaking
And
more than facts. But I want to dive back into the Henry Ford quote. You know,
mhm.
smartest man in the room knows that there's somebody smarter in the room.
Right, right. That's it. It's simple, right? It's simple. But not everybody thinks that way.
No, no.
Everybody wants to, you have to, you got to know enough to know that you don't know enough. In a sense, you can always reach out to somebody who knows, you know what I'm saying? And I was slowly falling into that trap where I started to do everything, and then it was just like, whoa, I have to be smarter about this and reach out to people who can do this, who can provide these things. And maybe you have to pay more. That's majority of the reason why people do that, because they don't want to have to pay whatever it is for the service. But when you do that, you're not investing in yourself, because now you're going to come up with a product that's everything we do is competing at a, you see me then you're gonna see whoever the industry artist that I sound like. And if my video ain't close to what theirs is, then I'm falling to the wayside because it's quality at this point, and there's no separation between industry and independent at all. Like at least to the consumer, like they don't know. Yeah, they don't know that like this dude got paid, or his budget for that video is 20,000, and this dude's budget for this video is 1,000. But you're putting them together and having that expectation. So you know, we're in an advanced time, so you have to just kind of put that in consideration. And I think about that all the time. Like I want to compete on the highest level, so how do I do that? I have to make sure the highest quality, and I reach out to the people who can create that. So yeah, man, it's simple, you know what I'm saying? And the video was fun. Like the girls were all dope, like they were all just having a good time. We created an ambiance and an environment for them to be themselves, and they came through clutch. And yeah, I love that video. That shit was hard. Shit was hard.
Yeah, no, and it ties so great into Steal My Love too. You that voicemail right at the beginning, and you said that's the one voicemail that was actually pre thought of, right?
Yeah, cause I needed around that time, like I was gonna have my girl do it or use one of the voice messages that she sent me, but we broke up. So I wasn't gonna, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna do that and use her messages on there. So I just hit my homie up and she did it, and it sounded dope. Like it sounded like it. If I didn't say that, you know what I'm saying, people probably would never know. But the funny part is, I get messages like that. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I get messages like that from like women that I'm dealing with or whatever the case is. So I just didn't want to use anybody's without like their permission. Got them feeling crazy or whatever like that. But she dropped that, and it was pretty dope. And we just Teddy sent me back his vocals, like I said. One of those situations where I called him, I said, "Yo, Ted, I got this song for you," and he sent me back the vocals, and he blessed them, you know what I'm saying, and how he placed it with the voicemail. As soon as she ended up talking, and he just comes right in singing like that to me was art in itself, because that's how we wanted it to sound. As soon as she stopped talking, his vocals came in strong, and then the beat dropped, and then you know it just something that catches people's attention. So I feel like those three songs right there can all be pushed to singles, and that's why this project is dope, because on the back end the marketing of it is going to be great. The front end, I just want to get the music out, because I started to learn like I can preview this, preview that, but it don't matter as much to consumers as much as it does if how long down the line are they going to continue to see the same project. Like, okay, if in 6 months I'm still promoting it, there's no way you're not going to hear it in 6 months after it's been released, because it's the only thing I've been throwing on my page. It's the only thing that I've been telling people about. So that's one of those songs that we're gonna, you know, on the later end of things, we're gonna start pushing that as a single as well.
So I'm so glad you said that. I actually I noticed this like well I noticed this with a lot of albums, but the most recent example that I can say is with like Pop Smoke's album Rest in Peace. He had the deluxe album came out, and there was a song Hello featuring A Boogie, and let you know. So like For the Night, that one with the baby and little baby was like the big song at the beginning, right before it was the Woo. That was like the big thing. And then you saw them once For the Night started becoming the big song, you saw them marketing that, boom. And then there was a song, the one with Lil TJ, that started moving. So they started pushing that. And now Hello featuring A Boogie is like the big one that they're pushing. And you realize they had singles throughout the project. It's just they know that certain times call for certain songs, and
Right.
it's time for this song, it's time for that song, but they put the music out and it's out there, and they can now push it at different times. So what you're doing, right. Genius.
Yeah. I just figured it's pointless for me, because normally, like I said, I have a lot of content too now, so like it's pointless for me to play my card and have everything up front. Like I could have been doing that 3 months when, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew I was coming out with a project around this time. I could have did that 2-3 months. Yo, album coming. Like, but the reality of it is, to me, as an independent artist, nobody cares about you previewing it, because it's, if you could do it front and back end, great. But if I'm only able to do it on one side, I would choose for it to be the project's out now. I can refer you here. Like you can go here and see it and
My
listen to it.
portfolio, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Versus me telling you, yo, it's coming out. I'm gonna lose you somewhere down the line because somebody else is gonna drop. Somebody else is gonna drop. Somebody, it's like, yo, just come out with the music and promote it to people. And I have the singles to do it, so that's what we're gonna do, and that's what we continuously, you know what I'm saying, are going to be attempting to achieve. So, yeah.
Gems, man. I hope people are listening, and I hope they're still following along at this point. I hope they're writing notes. That's the biggest thing. You always listen to things, but if you don't like go back and then remember those things and then implement them in your life,
right,
no point in listening.
Right. It's all about information and how you use it. Whether you know the saying, use it or lose it. You know what I'm saying? So and I do this, you know what I'm saying? I don't withhold anything that I know to anybody because I feel like maybe it can help, or if it doesn't, at least the information is available. You know what I'm saying? So wasn't always that way for me. That's why I say, like, in a sense, when I say I've arrived, that's another reason, is because it's like the information that I found out was all through, like, you know, going through those pains and everything like that. And I can speak freely on it. It's not like somebody just came in like, yo, I'm gonna take you under. I had to work to get to those places. And when I got there, I still had to work, and I'm still working now. So just one of those things where you know, you're supposed to do it to help or make somebody greater than you one day. So I hope people listen and can take the information from this and use it, or don't use it, or use it to not do, you know what I'm saying? Like critique it, whatever, but it's out there. It's free game. You know what I'm saying? So
Fact, yeah, you know, I can't remember who told me this Tupac quote, but he said that, I think it was Tupac. They said, you know, I'm not here to change the world. I'm here to inspire the person to change the world.
Mm-hmm. That's all it comes down to. And if you can do that, you did your job. That's it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
be the soundtrack to the kid that's gonna cure cancer. You know,
that's it.
Like stuff like that. You got to think like that. Be the soundtrack to the kid that would have probably not been here if he did not have you guiding him and having you as his best friend. And something, I was reading Russ's book, and he was like, there's something about music where, yeah, I'm not physically there with you, but I did something to where you feel like I'm there with you at every moment of your life when you're listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was so powerful, because there have been times where, you know, before I interviewed Chris Webby, a 12-year-old kid, I was viewing him as like my best friend. He was, you know, this white rapper out of Connecticut that I looked up to and was like, oh my God, it's somebody that I can like actually feel like see myself in those shoes. And like, you know, it's just the fact that you can be the kid's best friend. And I didn't meet him until 3 years ago, but I felt like I knew him 100% by the time 2017 hit.
Right. And that's a great feeling, because he did his job as an artist. And I think that more artists should think that way, because you know I do this for the children eventually that are going to grow up and, you know, become the future, the adolescents, and you know they're coming into adulthood. Like, this is the things I went through, so you know hopefully you don't got to go through those same things, or you know,
generational wealth. And it's not just for our own family.
No, it's for people, you know, and that's why I make music, man, is to change people's lives and to be a staple point. I had somebody hit me up, my homie, and I didn't know this about him, but he hit me up and he was like, yo, When a Man Cries is so dope, I can relate to it. And he sent me his cell number. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy that you felt that much of a connection where you're sharing this with me. Maybe you wouldn't have if I didn't, but that's good because it's a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's just about changing the world, man, changing people and just changing the perception of things. So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, sure. I definitely want to talk more about that later off camera at some point. With the breakthrough, I really am like, all right, what's the point of all this? I don't make any money off this. Maybe a couple dollars off the sweatshirt we released once, but like, I'm doing this to really push the culture forward. So what I want to do is start in a city. I'm just gonna say New London, since I'm closest to there. and we started an after school program. We gather all the equipment that you need for, the DAWs so they can learn production, Pro Tools so they can learn how to record. Hey, do you want to be a artist? Okay, well, we got a couple artists that are here volunteering today. And then we have, hey, you want to be a producer? You want to be a videographer? You want to be a coder? Let's come here and funnel them in. So after school, they can have a fucking warm meal. They can go and they can have friends there. Hey, maybe their friend went to the videography class the next day and they're like, you know what? I've been going to producing, but I think I like that. They become the next director X. You know what I mean? I want to see it so that eventually this younger generation has that foundation that we built for them, so that when we talk about, oh, we got to come together for Connecticut, the only way we do that is to look at the youth and help them, because the older guys were still have this A60 versus 203 animosity. The people that are like, big enough right now, they don't have that animosity, but everybody's working in their silos. The younger kids don't have their silos yet. They don't have their teams yet. Let's make it so that their team is the state.
Yeah, I agree. Unified. It's the only way. It's the only way we move forward and continuously have people support. Teaching kids it's okay to support somebody that you don't know, like that. That is in the same area that you are. So, I wish nothing but success for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And I think that this is something that we can talk about, because I was talking about it with something similar with Basketball Jones, but we could definitely get on a joint and talk about that for sure.
And it's just it's so nice to hear others with the actual genuine love for the youth and wanting to help. It's not, we're not looking at it like that Michael Jordan meme, fuck those kids. We actually do want to help them. I always make that joke, but at the same time, I was a mentor at Central for my last year, and just seeing all these things that I just had in my routine that I introduced to other people changed their style of working, changed their style of mindset. And it's if I can just sit there and just say a couple things that are normal to me, and then maybe revolutionize the mindset of a 10-year-old that then becomes the next Drake. I'm not saying I want anything out of that. I just want to see them succeed.
Right. So it is. It's all about change, bro. And we can do that with what we do and how we create. So I'm for that, for sure.
Bro. All right, so let's dive into the last three tracks. So this is the third part. If we break it up into three parts. So Don't Worry is the first one. And one line that I don't have I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you talk about moving with the right people and avoiding snakes. So can you dive into that a little bit
more? So the last three are kind of just introspective, songs where I'm talking. In a sense, I'm talking to myself before I went through all of this, as if I was to give advice to my younger self type deal. So moving with the snakes, I mean, not can't fuck with the snakes, and just moving correctly, it comes with trial and error. It comes with, you don't know until you end up doing some real shit with people, and then you find out okay, this person is not good for my career path of what I'm trying to do. And growing up in the music as an artist, I had to learn that these people, I'm cool with these people, but these people don't help my music. They don't contribute nothing to it. They don't promote. They don't do anything. So just because I have this association with them does not mean I have to tie them into this association. And I think when you start out, I think everybody wants to come in with their people, that they started with. And it doesn't always happen that way. But it's not always a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? You have to just be okay and comfortable with it. So I just learned throughout this whole process, it's okay. Don't worry. That's the whole point of the song. Don't worry. As long as you keep on your path, everything is gonna follow suit in how it plays out. So that was kind of the messaging behind that line. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go into the sequel to Bristol Nights 2. And
Yeah.
the first one, that was a 2016 hit with Alex Collins, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So what was the reasoning behind adding the sequel?
So the first one, when I did it, it was just, I felt like I was kind of recapping my life growing up there, but also talking about it as if I was currently in it and I didn't know if I was gonna not make it out, like I wasn't gonna die or no shit, but like if I was gonna be able to transcend the mentality that I had. So when I did the second one, Dante produced this and I sat down with him and I said, yo, Josh Blunt produced Don't Worry as well. But I sat down with Dante and I said, yo, I want to make a sequel to this because I feel like this is me closing the chapter. Like I might do more, but it won't be like Bristol Nights 3 or no shit like that. I might just change the number. Might be something that I keep doing and keep building on throughout my career just to kind of let people know where I came from. But this was me closing that chapter of any doubts that I had that I left on that record. So the sound is similar, you know what I'm saying? Because it's pretty much played to the same type of tune the first one was. And with this record, I just wanted to like I said, I wanted to find closure. And I talked about a lot of things that I felt brought me closure. Um, I talked about the last line was like, before the guitar was like, my pops kicked the habit just for me to turn to a fiend. Like, um, so my father was on drugs. You know what I'm saying? I found that out around that time. He's cool now, but I found that out. And that was powerful to me, that line, because it's like, okay, he's not on it, but like I have that same mentality, like of being addicted to something. And it's like obsessive, but it's with music. So it's a positive thing.
Yes, addictive personality, and it doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. It could
No,
steer you in the positive direction, but like you said, it's still addictive.
right. So when I said that, and then the guitar came in, it's just like, man, um, that's one of those things where I shed a tear, you know what I'm saying? Like writing it and performing it and listening to it because it resonates with me, my brother, my sister, my family, like my uncle, the people who are around to see all that shit. It's like that line is dope. So it was just me closing that chapter of my life thinking like I had to, like I'm not greater than this place, but I am. Like I'm here, like in the in the little like poetry section of it, I was saying, stuck in a place that I know I've outgrown, like holding on to a little piece of home. Like that was this chapter's going gold. I define myself, I ain't asking for your hope. So it's like I know now. Like I said before, and the theme of the whole project is that I know that there's more for me to learn, but I know I've arrived. And I know that I don't give a fuck about what nobody thinks. I'm from Bristol, Connecticut, and I wear that shit on my sleeve. Like you ask me where I'm from, I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah, I'm from the Hartford area. Like I'm from, you know what I'm saying? Nah. Like this is where I'm from. This is what created me. This gave me those thoughts. I live my experiences, but this is who I am. And to say that in a community of people who don't really respect it, like if you're not from Hartford or New Haven, New London, Bridgeport, etc. People look at you a little different. So this was me like, yo, I'm a knight. Like, and on that play, our mascot for our high school was a lancer. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like it all ties in when you start to think about that shit. And that's why nights like these made the night in me. Like that is who I am at my core, but that's also a play on where I came from and the stories that like made me who I am and who I'm becoming. So it was just one of those records, man. It's like it's musical. It has a message that's deeper. I know when I perform this, it's going to be live instrumentation. And I know this is the record where I perform and people know the words word for word. And it's just one of those things where, like I said, I knew I knew what I was gonna do to it before I even heard it, and I just spoke on it, and it was one of my that's probably like my favorite song, one of them, because I love the guitar. Charles Tyson played the guitar, and I sat down with him, and we played it together. Well, I didn't play it, but I was like coaching him through it, like to get what I wanted out of him, because I can't tell him what to play. I don't know how to play the guitar, but I was just telling him like, yo, we need a feeling, and then he just played it, and it was just like, it just felt like fucking thousands of people in the crowd, and just the type of vibe that you can't get nowhere else. So all that to kind of say, this is who I am. Like, it don't matter. Like, I'm from Bristol, Connecticut. Like I said before, that shit don't, like, it don't matter where you're from. At the end of the day, it's like, just you got to wear whatever you went through in that place on your sleeve. Like, no, it's not Hartford. No, it's not, but it is Bristol. And like, you come here, and the people who live here, you know what the fuck I'm talking about when I say, you know, SD to Hilltop, like the certain language that I say, like 72, like hit 72, like 72, you lived in New Britain, like 72 is the way to get to anywhere. 84, 91, you know what I'm saying? You use that, and I just have I have that chip on my shoulder because I am from here, and people don't respect it. But like I said, I know I'm nice, and I know I'm probably one of the nicest ones around, and I'm from Bristol, and there's a lot of talent out here, but maybe we don't maneuver correctly or whatever the case is. But simple fact of the matter is that there's greatness everywhere. And I did that to close the chapter, to tell people like, yo, like, I took my craft around the country. Like, I don't give a fuck what nobody tells me. I performed in damn near 20 different states. Like, I don't give a fuck what you tell me. Like, I'm just a kid from Bristol. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anything and everything is just a dream come true that happens after that. So that record was important, and I had to make sure I had it on this project, especially with the picture that I was using.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think what it is that, especially with areas like Hartford, New Haven, New London, Bridgeport, these people that are all creatives, they're also the people that they grew up around. Like, right. Imagine if all your boys in Bristol were not working together, but collectively making music. It would be an easier scene to navigate in. But since you're like sticking out like a sore thumb in Bristol as the guy, it's like it almost seems like a harder way to market in this closed network that we call Connecticut. But right. That's why I try, at least, because like I see it, bro. I see you're up there with every other lyricist here in Connecticut, bar none. Like I try to show love to the towns and the cities where it's like, hey, yes, it may not be somebody from New London, but just because they're not from New London, if we're outside of Connecticut, think about it like this. No one knows about Hartford. No one knows about New Haven. No one knows about New London outside of maybe like a couple of things they've heard. But it's not like if you said to somebody in Wisconsin, hey, I'm from Bristol, Connecticut, or hey, I'm from Hartford, Connecticut, they aren't going to think any differently.
Yeah.
It's just that internal sense where, oh, they're not part of that network. But like you said, once you go out and you expand, they're just like, oh, this artist's dope. And he's from a place called Bristol, Connecticut.
Right. And that's kind of the reasoning for that. So that makes sense. But also too, like Bristol, that mentality of being on the outside looking in is Bristol in a sense, because I mean, we have ESPN here, bro. Like, ESPN is in Bristol, which is fucking crazy, right? But there's nothing to do here. It's lame and shit. So whatever, it is what it is. But just the chip of being on the outside, and like, we have to earn our respect. Like, the people from Bristol that I grew up around, like, we didn't have to earn respect, but like when we were out or some shit like that, like there's always like that stigma, like, yo, you're from Bristol. It's like, okay, but I'll knock your fucking head off type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that aggression and that like that like you're from Bristol? Yes, I'm from Bristol and I can rap. Like, so what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So we had a lot of that of just being slept on. So Connecticut as a whole, but just places in smaller states, I mean smaller towns, cities, whatever you want to call it. We have that mentality of like, yo, we're here, bro, and we're probably more talented than you, to keep it a buck, but like we'll let you have it because you have a name. And like that's why even Dante said like in 100 million, like you haven't even left a county, like how are you?
That was a big bar that I didn't. I'm surprised I didn't pick that out right here. But yes, that's huge.
Yeah, like how are you? You've never left your county, so you can be the dopest here, but no one cares, bro, about you and don't want to hear you, or you can't take your sound and go to another state and be successful. I can take my sound to another state and be successful because I am from where I am from. Like I'm from Bristol, so there's a well balanced palette here. I've been in the trenches. I've been in the richest of houses. I've been in mansions out here. I've been in, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to say. It doesn't mean it's the craziest shit, but I've experienced it all. It's not one-sided. I didn't just grow up here. I didn't just grow up in the burbs. Like, it's not that. So I can take my sound, I can take my talk, I can take how I walk, I can take it to any state because I did it. And I did it on my own. Like times where I was in Cali and I had to talk to people who are gang members telling me they're gonna, yo, I'll have this whole bitch shot up. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, yo, you know what? You good, bro. Like I like just like learning how to maneuver and talk, like and taking my ego and pride out of it because I know who I am and I know where I'm from. You can't really do that with everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? I'll never say I'm from fucking, if I was from Plainville, I'd be from Plainville. If I was from Unionville, I would be from Unionville. Like I'm not from the Hartford area, like I was saying. So this record was important to make sure I put it on there.
No, seriously. And going back to what you said that Dante brought up with your county, that is the main reason I created the breakthrough. I was a ledgered artist, and there was probably like two of us, and the big city
Mm-hmm.
was New London. And guess what? Everybody from New London only knew about the big artists in New London.
Mm-hmm.
The 30-year-olds were not looking outside of their city, and it's like you have to go beyond. And so then I was like, all right, I'm gonna show love to these New London guys and then to these New Haven and to the Hartford guys. And then so they're all gonna come to CT Breakthrough and then see, wait, oh, people are doing stuff over there too. Like, oh shit, that's actually dope. And now I see just everybody, like, not everybody, but some bigger heads intermingling with groups. One of the things that I love the most is to see Trap Fetty working with Wave Only and Bugatti's crew. Like just the fact that somebody from Harvard and a crew from New Haven are like boys now is something that 5 years ago you couldn't have said.
Yeah. And that's good. That's good to do that because it needs that's how you unify people because everyone feels like, you can't relate. Like we all live in the same fucking small ass state. Like how could we not all know the same people or be around the same people or whatever it is? So I feel that.
Look at Florida riding for Florida. They're not riding for Miami. They're not riding for Orlando. They're not riding for any city specifically. Hell, X was from Broward County. That county was not talked about until all the artists started popping out of that area.
Right.
And now it's a name that we know because it's a lot of artists who come out of there. You just have to really lose that mindset and start differently.
Yeah, but it takes one person could say it, two people, but it takes a community to get it done. So
slowly but surely. And that's why I'm here, just to try. I understand everybody has their own silo, their own vision. They're all doing their things. That's where people like Mystery Girl, me, Bars on 995 for trying to showcase y'all so that what I eventually want is to have like a media circuit. You see people go down in New York and they're like, okay, first we're going to hit this radio station, then we're going to hit this radio station, then we're going over to the TV network and we're going to hit this late night talk show host, and they all do the rollout. That's what we need in Connecticut. We need just, all right, so you're going to go to Mystery Girl first, and then you're going to go over to CT Breakthrough, and then we're going to get you on Bars on 95 if you are a rapper, and blah, 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 and like just make it so it is that community. that collective.
It should be that way. It should be.
It will be. It takes time, and a lot of people like, especially recently, because there was like Connecticut was brewing, and then everybody went and did their own thing, and then now a lot of people are saying like, oh, I don't see stuff moving. And it's like you have to step back and look at it from my lens and see everything moving.
Right. Just like you're not looking for it too. It's like you also have to be like, it's like when people say there's no people don't make the music ain't the same no more. It's like you gotta look for it. Like whatever you're choosing to look for is what you're gonna see. So when people say that stupid, ignorant shit, it's like, bro, you're not even looking. Like you're not looking at all. You're just talking and making statements that are really just meant to send people like to troll. Like you're not really looking, bro, and that's not supportive like at all. Like I know exactly what you're talking about because I know exactly who it is. It's like, yo, like what the fuck are you saying? Like you're just talking, bro, and you're trash. So it's that's the type of shit that I don't really fuck with because it's like you're not moving culture that way. You're more so you're pitting people against other people now because now you're fighting to say, hey, we're good, we're this. Like, bro, like just support and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel about that shit. Like support or don't, but
yeah,
whatever.
People be moving funny. I saw something and like so both people were misinformed, but so one kid tweeted out like his single and I retweeted that, and then somebody else that follows the breakthrough saw that and posted under it another song, and then his friend was like, hey, you could have at least like reposted the song that you're posting under, and the guy did. He just did it later, but it was just like people just have this like everybody has their own agenda.
Yeah.
And and that's why like people like me, I'm trying to make it so it's like I have no agenda. Your guys' agenda is my agenda, and I'm just trying to push all.
Yeah, and that's why it's successful, and that's why it works for you.
Exactly.
That's the mentality. Mm-hmm.
I
should be
in the background. I to be honest, you seem I've barely talked during this entire interview. I've just been sitting here listening, and that's what I love to do. You brought it up earlier. Listening is the most important thing that you can do on this planet ever because you listen and you learn and then you implement.
Right. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
I like that. I'm gonna remember that. All right, so we got one more song left, and it is the self-titled track. It won't last forever. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to make the self-titled track the outro?
Because it was the it was the what's the word I'm thinking of?
Moment almost.
It was just me taking everything. So it was a whole journey, and it was just me looking at everything and ending it properly. I felt like it was one of those songs where it was an outro because I wanted people to make sure this was going to be the last thing they heard on the project, because how it ends is like with a voicemail and et cetera. Then it
perfectly, by the way. I love
it. Yeah. And it's cool because that was a real that whole song. I wouldn't take that whole shit, and I was really in there like crying and shit. Like I was going through a tough time, and it was really tough. So I used it, but the whole shit was like I said, I recorded myself and I was in there for like 7 minutes. So like I was in there crying and shit. So I was like, let me just cut it to like 3. And the idea I had was like, I'm leaving a message to me. I would say I'm leaving a message, like praying in a sense to God. Like I'm talking and I'm kind of giving finally saying it. The whole time I didn't answer the phone call to anybody that was calling me, because throughout this album, I'm figuring out myself, and I don't want to pick up the phone. Like, but now it's time for me to call because I need the help. And I call and I'm leaving a message, and it's just too long because he has too much to do. So it was kind of played off of that. And then it goes back to the top of the album with the voicemail. But I made that the last song because it was just one of those things where it was a simple hook, but it was powerful. And I felt like the 2 verses were just recaps of the whole like my whole 2 years, I feel like. And there's a lot in there, even though they're not the longest. You know what I'm saying? And I the second verse specifically, I made sure to talk a little bit about, you know, from like a female perspective, about just how, you know, how we perceive women, and you know, just tapping into their emotions, because that came from like a real live uh situation. You know what I'm saying? Like like me analyzing somebody, and somebody who can't really um articulate that well. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this second verse on this song to really talk to the people, specifically the women that might feel like, you know, they're not good enough, or they don't have, you know what I'm saying, they don't have what it takes, or not beautiful enough. Like, I wanted to just make sure this message was heard from everybody. Like, it won't last forever. Like, you gotta thug it out through the rainy weather. Gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. Like, we ain't in control. If you really know, like, you just have to live your life, and understand that you're not in control of what goes on. Like you can try to control it. The only thing you can do is live the best way you can. So I just wanted that song to really end it on a positive note. And I know for the line, like I said earlier, the pain's the motivator. Now it's time for new replacements. That's where I want to take my life now. So, I mean, it's still going to be one of the things that, you know, helps my music, but it's not going to be like, I want to write when I'm happy. I want to write about things that I want. I want to really manifest those type of feelings. So it was just the end of that. Like I said, that chapter of me thinking like my life. And every time I had to pick up a pen, it was pain, and like just speaking. So it's not negatively speaking, but just speaking. And it's just not positive affirmations of what I want, just being more in tune with myself. So I felt like that was the perfect way to end it. And the voicemail was the perfect way to like cut myself off. Like, I've been talking too long. So let me just get to the action of like what I actually have to do. And it's so abrupt. It's like so abrupt that I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's it kind of is like a record scratch.
Yeah, perfect. It gave me the last scene of Sopranos feel. You know what I mean? When it
Yeah.
just cuts to black, it's just like, oh, okay. But then, and because it does that, it makes you go back and think about what you learned. And this is something key. So with every album I listen to, I go and I'm like, all right, I listen to the first song to the last song. I go, okay, what did I learn from that? You doing that naturally made me able to go, okay, here's the cut point, let me retrospect. But there's still that couple seconds where you're still in that universe of the album, but you're still thinking back.
Right. And I thought it was I thought it was one of those moments to kind of what you're saying. It was just the perfect time. And if you listen to it from top to bottom, like if you put it on repeat, I love how it ends, because it goes right into the phone call again. And it's just like a perfect flow, man. And it was just the greatest thing I could have did was record that verse that night that I did it, because it was real emotions. And I try to make sure like I'm playing on that. I want people to feel. I want to take people into the world that I'm in. I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't gonna keep the voicemail, but then I was like, I want people to hear this, because I think it's normal. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying what you want, and feeling down, and feeling like you know you're calling out for help, and etc. There's nothing wrong with that, and that shouldn't be frowned upon. Like, as people, as men, like it shouldn't be frowned upon to ask for help. So in that moment, I was crying out for help, but in like totality, like, I'm in a better place now, like than I was when that was being recorded. So it's just the ending of that for me. I feel like just positive, man. Just gotta be positive, bro, and just speak everything that I want, and it'll continuously happen. Like, it's been working, and it's been continuously altering the way, you know, I'm impacted. People are talking to me, etc. So I thought that was a perfect way to end the project. And
Love that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
where does that leave you going now?
Right now, I think I have so I have a documentary that we filmed last January, specifically for this project. It's gonna be a 4-part series, like a docu-series, 4-part. Um, Trying to figure out when to put that out. But yeah, but as far as where we're going in this moment in time, have to shoot a video for Fonz. And I already have a video for How Do You Know? I already have a video for Don't Worry. I already have like a short film. We shot a short film in Atlanta for When a Man Cries.
So
Yeah. So it's I think now it's just the content game, to be honest with you. And I have, like I said, I have content um from now up until at least May off of the project, because I didn't do a lot of front end promoting, but what I did was I filmed a lot of things on the front end and got a lot of things done on the front end. So it's like now all that stuff is edited and can be released accordingly.
back end now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm more comfortable than I normally am when it comes to promoting, because I know I have shit up my sleeve. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we shot the documentary. The documentary is actually very powerful because it gives you a in-depth look of my journey from when I started at humble beginnings, actually before how I started, all the way up until the release of this project. So um that's one of my like proudest things, because I wanted to do it and I did it, and the quality is crazy. Like, we shot it on 6K cameras and all types of dope shit. So that's kind of what I'm working on, and just working with my
which makes you, I just, sorry for interrupting, but that six camera thing, from a viewer standpoint, if I see a video and someone's like, yo, just drop something that's 1080p, I'm most likely not going to watch the whole thing because it's not going to captivate me. Make it a we can do it at this point.
And that's, like I was saying before too, like how we're paired is not, it's independent in industry, but there's a blend that shouldn't be there, but it is. So, every time I link up with my people, we try to make sure the quality is as clean as possible, and as dope as possible. And that's we don't have the industry budget. We are the label, so we fund everything. You know what I'm saying? And we make those moves. So when I was in Atlanta, and that's like a frequent spot for me that I go to because my homie lives out there. But every time I go out there, I film something, and I made sure that we had everything we needed. So when you see the content and everything like that, I think you'll love the project even more. I think it gives it more of a replay value too. Like, it makes you want to go back and listen to it, because they coexist together. So that's what I'm excited about. It is a battle for me because like I said, I'm an artist. Like, I like being artistic and doing shit like that. But knowing that I have to spearhead and work with the people that I'm working with to get this off the ground is important, and I'm excited for it for the first time because I know I have the content to back it. So, yeah, just have to keep you posted, man. Just have to keep you posted with everything we got going on. But yeah,
I'm excited, bro. If everything just sounds like it's aligning into place. Everything, like we go back to what I said. Every obstacle is placed in front of us. Every opportunity is placed in front of us. Just let the universe unfold.
And that's what I've been doing and working towards. So this has been the toughest, I want to say, leading up to a project, because a lot of money was spent, a lot of time was invested. But I think, like, my birthday's next week, and
happy early birthday.
Yeah, thank you. My birthday's next week, December 9th. And we just spent like the past couple weeks after the project release. I just spent the past couple weekends just relaxing, you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of just getting prepared for this next battle that I'm gonna have to go through and try to, just to get my mind right. But it feels good to just to just chill. like it's been
so important
it
to
was
do
great.
that. I didn't do that for the longest time, and then I wondered why I felt burnt out.
Yeah, you gotta relax, man. Like, and that's what I'm learning too, is like, you know, after you finish something like that, you need that time to recalibrate, experience some new things, and just get right. So I'm excited, man. And like I said, the documentary, I don't know how COVID's gonna do, because what we're working on is doing like a showing for it in a movie theater. But I don't know what's gonna happen in the next few months. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. But that's dependent upon that, because I do want people to see it, and I would like a red carpet event type of feel. But that's down the line. In the meantime, we're gonna be working on the F.O.N.S video and just getting everything and just trying to get that off the ground. So yeah, man, it won't last forever. It is whatever you want it to be. Just know that whatever you're going through or whatever you're experiencing is not going to last forever. So cherish the moments, and also understand that it's good to be balanced. Like you cannot be too high or too low. You have to find your balance, whatever balance is for you. And with this project, I was able to do that more than I already did, and now I'm looking to take the knowledge that I have and expand it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
That's great. And, you know, honestly, this is a great way to cap it off.